Chapter 180. The rain is drifting, just like our damp and flying mood at this moment. Wearing our beautiful coats, holding a colorful umbrella, we went out and walked in the rain. Carefully feel the beauty of the rain. Feel the breath of our youth. What is youth? It's electricity, it's light, it's hard work, it's the courage to win first place. It's you like me and I like you. It's infinite possibilities and opportunities. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the host of the campus radio program, Little Woo. According to the previous program routine, now is the time to recite the poems sent by the Poetry Club or recommend a few pieces of music to suit the occasion. But today will be different. We all know that two extremely popular language teachers in the school once made a bet, betting which class's language scores would be higher. The loser would have to recite a letter of apology provided by the winner on the campus radio program. I don't know if everyone is looking forward to this, but personally, I'm looking forward to it. Wow. The whole school was in an uproar. It was after school, and the students were either preparing to go home or walking back to their dorms. Hearing the campus radio program from the school loudspeaker, everyone couldn't help but stop or smile knowingly. Oh my God, are they really going to recite the letter of apology on the radio? That's so embarrassing. A girl with long hair and the demeanor of a goddess exclaimed. Isn't that right? If it were me, I wouldn't do such a thing. The round-faced girl next to her echoed. You don't know, right? The gossipy guy wanted to please the two girls, so he pretended to be mysterious and said, It said that because of this matter, the school leaders specially found the two teachers, Fong Yin and Zhang Yu, to mediate, but both of them didn't accept the mediation. They must insist on going according to the previous content of the competition. What a character. I like it. Exactly. The demeanor of a scholar. Then, let's welcome Teacher Zhang Yu. Teacher Zhang Yu, can you say hello to the students? The voice of the host, Little Woo, continued to resound in the campus through the campus radio. Silence. There was no sound from the radio for a long time. Miss Zhang, Little Woo reminded. Seeing that Zhang Yu was still unwilling to speak, Little Woo hurriedly explained, Miss Zhang is brewing her emotions. Please wait a moment. I'm Zhang Yu. Zhang Yu's hoarse and dull voice finally came out from the broadcast. A single sentence from Kieran sent the whole Rosefinch High into an uproar. Heavens! Teacher Zhang Yu really came to apologize. Shouldn't it be Fong Yin? Fong Yin is teaching Class 9. How could Class 9 possibly surpass Class 1? The 9th class is really impressive this time. I apologize to Teacher Fong Yin with utmost sincerity and humility. I was wrong. I severely underestimated Teacher Fong Yin's ability and the strength of Class 9 students. I am Mosquito. Teacher Fong Yin is Jiaolong. I'm a flashlight. Teacher Fong Yin is the big sun. I am a bicycle. Teacher Fong Yin is a Ferrari. The faces of Class 9's students showed puzzled expressions. Huang Haoran, did I hear it wrong? Is this a letter of apology written by Mr. Fong? Yes, it shouldn't be, right? We've all heard Mr. Fong's letter of apology. Mr. Fong read it in public in the classroom. It should be. Huang Haoran was also puzzled and said, This is the content of the bet. Presumably, Zhang Yu wouldn't dare to change the content of the letter of apology. Besides, there's no such way to change it. It must be known that although the letter of apology read by Fong Yin sounded very immoral, it was still within the acceptable range of normal people. Like this time, Mosquito and Jiaolong, Bicycle and Farron, who would have the nerve to praise themselves like that. I'm acutely conscious of my own error. I only have myself to blame for this punishment. I shouldn't have taken the initiative to provoke Teacher Fong Yin, and even more so, I shouldn't have forced him to accept my challenge. In a situation where he repeatedly rejected me, I was still unwilling to let him go. Teacher Fong Yin, I was wrong. In order to express my apology, I want to give you a tongue twister. I hope you like it. Students, did you hear that? Teacher Zhang Yu is going to say a tongue twister, the host Little Woo said happily. Darkening. Zhang Yu finished reading. Everyone was dumbfounded. What were they talking about? He only heard a long part of hui hui, but he didn't understand the meaning of this tongue twister at all. Mr. Zhang Yu, Little Nothingness asked timidly, "May I ask what you're reciting? Is black ash fat ash will volatilize gray ash, will be taboo black ash, will be black ash flower, will return to fey. Ash black fertilizer will evaporate and turn into ash. Is this it? I'm done reading it." Zhang Yu roared angrily, and then there was a loud bang from the broadcast. Everyone knew that it was the sound of teacher Zhang Yu slamming the door and leaving. There was a long period of silence from the broadcast, as if the host had also disconnected. After a long time, the host, Little Wu, sighed softly and said, "Teacher Zhang Yu is from Shaman. Is this really appropriate for him? Is this appropriate?" Lu Chaoga asked. In Lu Chaoga's office, she and Fang Yin had just enjoyed teacher Zhang Yu's performance on the campus radio station. That hui part almost made her drop her jaw in shock. "What? Miss Zhang is from Shaman?" Fang Yin looked shocked. "I didn't know that at all. I just felt that when he talked to me, the words gray and fly weren't very coherent. I didn't expect that I would guess it right." Lu Chaoga drank a few mouthfuls of tea and then looked at Fang Yan's face again. She said, "I know that you didn't write this script before. Your apology letter has been read in class, and I have the original text here." As Lu Chaoga spoke, she took out a piece of paper from the folder and handed it over. Fang Yin took the paper and looked at it. It was the hipster version of the apology letter that he had read in class. "I fear the starry sky because it is so deep that it makes people feel small." "I changed it," Fang Yin said. "Why did you change it?" "That was a trick to lure the enemy," Fang Yin said. "Lure the enemy?" "When I wrote the apology letter, the exam results hadn't come out yet. Although I kept saying that we would win, and I said that to everyone, but how did I know that I would definitely win? What if I lost? So, you wrote such an apology letter that Zhang Yu could completely accept. When the exam results came out, if you lost, he could only write an apology letter according to your standards. Is that right?" "Something like that," Fang Yin said. "In the end, you won, but you gave him another apology letter." "You can't say that." Fang Yin waved his hand. "I didn't want the relationship between my colleagues to be too stiff, and I didn't want others to call me despicable and shameless. My nature is actually not bad. You have to admit that I am a kind person. Something happened later, which prompted me to make such a decision." "What happened?" "After the math exam, he blocked me at the small door and said that I would definitely lose. He also said that he would use the cruelest way to humiliate me. I thought about it. I can't lose," Fang Yin explained, feeling wronged. "So he's at a disadvantage." Lu Chaoga was silent again. The topic terminator always had this ability. After he said something, you wouldn't know how to continue. "You don't think that I'm a vicious person, right?" Fang Yin asked cautiously. "No," Lu Chaoga said. "That's good." Fang Yin was happy again. "It was very difficult for me to make such a decision. I hesitated for a long time and wrote 2 notes to draw lots. Finally, I decided to choose this apology letter. Of course, I didn't ask teacher Zhang Yu to report his 3 measurements in the apology letter. This is already a very kind act, right? Because his 3 measurements are really terrible." Fang Yin. Lu Chaoga interrupted Fang Yin's topic. If she let him continue, he would become a national hero. "Go ahead." Fang Yin smiled gently and made an inviting gesture. "Congratulations," Lu Chaoga said. "This is a subversion. In the past, Class 1 has always been Class 1. No class could surpass them. Even in a single subject, it was the same." Fang Yin and Zhang Yu's bet ended with Class 9 winning Class 1. Class 1 and Class 9 had the same number of people. Class 1's average score for a single subject was 117 points, while Class 9's average score was 121 points. Class 9's average score was 4 points higher than Class 1's. Don't look down on these 4 points. In the past, Class 9's results were far ahead of other classes. Even Class 2, which was the closest to Class 1, was a long distance behind them. Not to mention Class 9, which was ranked at the bottom. This time, after the change of the language teacher, Fang Yin carried out a series of new teaching methods to stimulate the students' learning enthusiasm. After this competition, Class 9 actually defeated the King of Champions class. Therefore, it was not an exaggeration for Lu Chaoga to say that this was a subversion. More importantly, not only did Class 9 take home the first-place award for the average score of the language subjects, But they also took home the first place for the language subjects, the first place for the mathematics subjects, and the first place for the other subjects. That's right, only the Rosefinch goddess, Qin Etienne, could have such a heaven-defying performance. Tangxing also performed quite well. His total score and average score were among the top 5 in the school. He was following closely behind Qin Etienne. The results obtained by Class 9 this time could only be described as dazzling. Through this battle, the sarcasm, doubts, and blows that some of the senior teachers in the school had towards Fang Yin had all vanished into thin air. Fang Yin had become Rosefinch Secondary's true idol and ace teacher. Chapter 181. No one disliked compliments, and Fang Huohua was no exception. He looked at Lu Chaoge, his handsome face slightly embarrassed, and said, "Actually, it's not a big deal. I just achieved a little bit of extraordinary results in an ordinary position." Lu Chaoge thought to herself, "That's right, but why does it feel strange and absurd when it comes from Fang Yan's mouth?" Seeing that Lu Chaoge did not speak, Fang Yin pretended to be indifferent, but very concerned, and asked, "There's only verbal praise from the school leaders and no physical rewards." "I'm going to buy Rosefinch," Lu Chaoge said. Fang Yin was shocked and said, "You don't have to be so polite, right? Although I've made some contributions to the school, it's something I should do. You don't have to give me the whole Rosefinch, do you?" Fang Yin quickly calmed down, thought about it seriously, and said, "Is it because I helped you before? If it's because of that, I'm willing to accept it." Lu Chaoge was now the second largest shareholder of Longta Group, and she was a super rich person with a net worth of billions. If she bought a school for him because she was grateful for his selfless help and life-saving grace, it was completely understandable. Lu Chaoge looked at Fang Yin calmly and said, "You've already used your results to prove to everyone that this teaching method is excellent and effective. However, if I want to promote it to the whole school, there will still be a lot of resistance. So I want to buy Rosefinch. I'll be the principal. I'll be the principal. You'll be the principal yourself? Aren't you going to work at Longta Group? Chairman or a general manager or something?" "Yes, I'll continue to stay at Rosefinch." "What about me?" "Rosefinch Senior High School's Class 9 form teacher and language teacher. Class 9 needs you. The practice and consolidation of Fang Xin reenactment teaching method also needs you. We need better results to support my teaching reform. I need you to lead the students of Class 9 to achieve even more outstanding results and create even more dazzling miracles. The higher the position, the greater the responsibility. The greater the responsibility, the higher the official position, right?" Fang Yin decided to bargain with Lu Chaoge. "Rosefinch Secondary's managing vice principal, Class 9's homeroom teacher and language teacher. I think this new position suits me very well." "That's what you think," Lu Chaoge said. If an overly young guy who had only been teaching for less than 2 months was appointed as the school's vice principal, the students' parents would begin to doubt the quality of the school's teaching. Fang Yan's resume was too thin. He needed to produce more achievements, or, at the very least, he needed to wait for more years. "Let's schedule a time to talk to Director Zheng," Lu Chaoge said. "I think if you propose it, he'll consider it carefully." Zheng Tianqing's weakness was in Fang Yan's hands. If Fang Yan proposed a purchase plan to Zheng Tianqing would indeed consider it. Of course, the key was to make Zheng Tianqing profitable. You want the horse to run, but you don't give it grass. How can you be a leader? Fang Yan said with a bitter smile. After saying that, he suddenly realized that there seemed to be something wrong with what he said. At this moment, Fang Yan's cell phone rang. He took out his cell phone and looked at the caller ID. It was his grandmother's house number. Fang Yan answered the phone and said with a smile, "Grandmother, is it you?" His grandmother's doting voice said, "Brat, how do you know it's me? Can't it be your grandfather?" Fang Yan said with a smile, "If grandfather wants to talk to me, he'll call me directly to the study to talk." "You're smart. Fang Yan, come home for lunch today." "Grandmother, this afternoon I may." His grandmother directly interrupted Fang Yan's explanation and said, "Call little Lu. I haven't seen her for a few days, and I really miss her." Is the injury on her leg all right? Little Lou is usually busy with work. You have to take care of her and don't let her fall or hurt herself. You can talk to her directly. Fong Yin handed over the phone and said to Lu Chaoga, "My grandmother wants to talk to you." Lu Chaoga took the phone, and a rare smile appeared on her face. Her voice also became soft and charming. She said, "Grandmother, are you looking for me?" Fong Yin was speechless as he looked at Lu Chaoga, who was chatting with her grandmother in a low voice. He wondered if there was any misunderstanding between them. The negotiation was very successful. Lu Chaoga bought all of Zheng Tiancheng's shares of Rosefinch High School at a premium of 20%. Zheng Tiancheng looked at Fong Yin and said with a sigh, "I've seen you twice, and I've lost twice. I, Zheng Tiancheng, have never been so passive in my life. Fong Yin, you're my nemesis." Fong Yin waved his hand with a smile and said, "The first time was not Director Zheng's loss, but young Master Zheng's. This time, it's not Director Zheng's loss, but Director Zheng's win. Who would refuse a person who gives them money?" Zheng Tianqing laughed and patted Fong Yin's shoulder hard, saying, "Rosefinch Secondary is too small. It's really unfair for you to be a teacher. My original promise is still valid. If you're willing to work for me, I'll give you all I promised. No, I'll give you double. If you have any conditions, we can also talk about it in detail." To be honest, Director Zheng's conditions made me very tempted. I've also hesitated countless times about whether to work for Director Zheng. However, I still decided to refuse Director Zheng's invitation and sincerely apologize to you. Why? I can't bear to part with those children's clear eyes and happy, smiling faces, Fong Yin said. After refusing Zheng Tiancheng's invitation, on the way back to school, Lu Chaoga couldn't help but ask, "Are you really refusing Zheng Tiancheng's luxury car, mansion, and high salary because you can't bear to part with those children's happy, smiling faces and clear eyes?" "Not exactly," Fong Yin said. "I don't think his female secretary is as good-looking as you." Fong Yin glanced at the rearview mirror and said with a smile, "We're being followed." Lu Chaoga's eyes were cold as she asked, "Who could it be?" "I also think it's strange," Fong Yin said. "Logically speaking, you've already become a major shareholder of Longta Group. What's done is done, and others have no reason to touch you anymore. Who could it be?" "Call the police," Lu Chaoga said. "Not for the time being." Fong Yin said, "Aren't you curious about who is hiding in the dark like a rat in a sewer and biting people? Don't take risks." "Trust me," Fong Yin said. Fong Yin jerked the steering wheel, and the car rushed in a direction that deviated from the original route. The car behind him didn't hesitate and immediately followed. "They're quite open and aboveboard. They're following us in such a high-profile manner," Fong Yin said with a sneer. "Either they're skilled and bold, or they're a group of idiots. I really hope it's the latter." The car sped all the way through the bustling city, through the remote streets, past the suburban houses, and finally arrived at the edge of the Yantian port. This was an abandoned port. Ever since the construction of the Huacheng port in the east, this place had been deserted. The weather was harsh, and there were no signs of people. The port looked dilapidated. Screech! The black Buick SUV that followed closely behind stopped. Two men in black suits in the car looked around vigilantly, and then their eyes fell on the champagne-colored BMW that was parked in the middle of the square of the port. The windows were transparent, and they couldn't see anyone in the car from where they were. The two men looked at each other, and then they opened the door and got out of the car. They reached into their pockets, took out their pistols, and pulled out the safety bolt. The two men held their guns and carefully surrounded the BMW. The bald man stared up, and the muzzle was pointed at the car door, ready to kill the enemy that rushed out of the car at any time. The man with the crew cut leaned down at a 90-degree angle, and with one hand on the ground, he raised the gun with the other hand and aimed at the chassis of the BMW. He was worried that the target would hide underneath and launch a surprise attack. They attacked from the top and attacked from the bottom, and they cooperated well. There was nothing suspicious in or out of the car. "Where is he?" The two men were well trained, and they immediately looked around with their backs against each other, ready to find the enemy that might be hiding in the dock's cargo container or somewhere else. "Are you looking for me?" Fong Yin stood beside them with a smile and asked aloud. Fong Yin didn't go far, and he had been hiding by the side of the BMW. However, he wasn't in the car, nor was he in the bottom of the car. Instead, he used gecko climbing to hang his body on the door on the other side of the BMW. The men in black didn't find any trace of Fong Yin in the car, and thought that Fong Yin was hiding in the junk container not far away. This gave Fong Yin the time and opportunity to quietly approach them. The two men were shocked, and they raised their hands to shoot. Fong Yin wouldn't give them the chance to shoot. He slashed with his hands twice, but only a kacha sound could be heard. The two pistols fell to the ground at the same time, and the two men's arm bones were broken at the same time. Fong Yin tiptoed, and a black pistol left the ground and flew back into the air. He picked up the pistol, put the muzzle on the bald man's head, and said with a smile, "Guess if there are any bullets in this gun?" The bald man didn't guess, because he knew better than anyone that there were 6 bullets in the gun. It was full. This was his gun. "Pa!" Fong Yin slapped the long-haired man next to him in the face. The long-haired man's mouth was bleeding, and there was a purplish-red handprint on his face. He looked at Fong Yin angrily, feeling that he had been slapped in the face for no reason at all. "Guess why you didn't guess?" Fong Yin asked. Chapter 182. "That's his gun," said the long-haired man. "Because it's his gun and he knows how many bullets are in the magazine. So he doesn't want to guess?" asked Fong Yin. As he spoke, he slapped the bald man in the face again and shouted, "If you know the answer, why don't you tell me? You think my question is too simple, don't you?" The bald man clenched his fists and his bones cracked. "Pa!" Fong Yin slapped the bald man in the face again and scolded, "Look, I know you're not convinced. If I ask you why 1 + 1 = 2, do you think you can solve it?" The bald man was stunned. He wanted to find an opportunity to fight back, but the slaps had shattered his momentum. The long-haired man didn't dare to act rashly. His right arm bone had been cut off by Fong Yin's knife. His combat power had been greatly reduced, and his gun had fallen into the enemy's hands. If he fought back, would he blow up the bald man's head? "Pa!" Fong Yin slapped the bald man in the face again and said, "Answer my question. How many bullets are in the magazine?" 6, said the bald man. He knew that answering this question would be very shameful. Even his companions would ridicule him for having no backbone. But was this the time to talk about backbone? This guy was simply a mad dog who didn't play by common sense. If he didn't answer, he had no doubt that this guy would beat him to death. Yes, he wanted obedience, absolute control over them. Only in this way could he get more useful information from their mouths. The bald man had studied criminal psychology and knew what Fong Yin was doing. This was an extremely difficult opponent. Fong Yin reached out to slap the long-haired man. The long-haired man hurriedly said, "It's 6. There are 6 bullets in the gun." He guessed correctly. The long-haired man was so clever that Fong Yin didn't know whether to take back his hand or continue to slap him. Thinking that he was in a dilemma because of a gangster, Fong Yin was a little angry. He slapped the long-haired man's face hard and scolded, "Did I ask you if he guessed correctly?" The long-haired man was on the verge of tears. "What exactly do you want to ask?" "I don't want to ask anything. I just want to slap you," Fong Yin said confidently. The bald man and the long-haired man looked at each other in dismay. How did they meet such a freak? Because he valued his own life too much, Fong Yin would never tolerate those who attempted to harm him. If someone slapped him once, he would definitely return the favor with 10 slaps. If someone kicked him, he would find a way to break the leg that kicked him. If someone wanted him dead, then sorry, he wouldn't let them live a good life. If that person was Yiro, the first 3 conditions could be ignored. The two of them had been following him all the way. They were armed with guns and were extremely dangerous. Naturally, Fong Yin wouldn't be polite to them. "I won't kill you," Fong Yin said. "I know better than anyone that killing is a crime." The bald man and the long-haired man were relieved at the same time. As long as they could keep their lives, it was fine. They were afraid that this idiot would not care and directly beat them to death. As long as there's life, there's hope. But Fong Yin stuffed the gun in his hand into the long-haired man's broken hand. Then he raised his arm and aimed the gun at the bald man's head. "You will kill yourselves." The two men's faces were ashen. Could be played like this? Why didn't they think of it? So, now can you tell me who sent you to kill me? Fang Yan's face was cold and his voice was extremely fierce. We're not here to kill people. We're here to deliver a letter. The broken arm was unbearable and his forehead was covered with sweat. It was cold, but the long-haired man's clothes had been soaked with sweat. What letter? Fang Yan asked. To deliver a letter to Miss Liu. Someone wants to see her. The long-haired man said. Fang Yan looked at the long-haired man thoughtfully and said, Originally, you wanted to kidnap her, right? The two men were silent. The order they received was indeed to deliver a letter. However, there were many ways to deliver a letter. They could deliver the letter to Liu Chaoga out of courtesy. They could also deliver the letter to Liu Chaoga and bring Liu Chaoga and the letter back at the same time. If it was the latter, it would be easier to negotiate. This was also the reason why they followed closely and unscrupulously prepared to take Liu Chaoga away. Of course, they also received news that the male follower of Liu Chaoga was good at martial arts. But so what? No matter how good his martial arts was, he would still be afraid of a kitchen knife. With a gun in hand, the world was mine. No matter how good his martial arts were, wasn't it something that could be solved with a bullet? The ideal was too full, but the reality was too shameless. It seems that I guessed correctly. Fang Yan said, Where's the letter? The bald man reached into his arms and took out a rolled-up paper ball from his pocket. Open it, Fang Yan said. The paper ball was dirty, and there was a reddish-brown liquid on it. Fang Yan wouldn't reach out to touch it himself. When the paper ball was opened, it turned out to be a piece of charred flesh. This is... Fang Yan paused, and his eyes became extremely sharp. Human skin? Because there was blood on it, it was likely to be a piece of flesh cut from a living person. What kind of person could actually do such a thing that was worse than a beast? Liu Chaoga came out from hiding. She had been hiding in an abandoned container not far away. As soon as the car stopped, Fang Yan drove her out and asked her to immediately find a place to hide. Then he magically disappeared from her field of vision. When Liu Chaoga saw the piece of flesh wrapped in white paper, her expression changed greatly, and she asked anxiously, Where is she? The criminal used this piece of flesh to invite Liu Chaoga, which proved that the person had a close relationship with Liu Chaoga. But what kind of person was it? Fang Yan was full of doubts. Come with us. Someone wants to see you, the bald man said. Fang Yan slapped the bald man's face and scolded. You think we'll go just because you say so? A captive should have the awareness of a captive. Fang Yan didn't like the bald man's tone and way of speaking to Liu Chaoga. It was too aggressive. I'll go with you, Liu Chaoga said straightforwardly. The bald man glanced at Fang Yan and didn't dare to speak rashly. Ha! Fang Yan slapped the bald man's face again and scolded. Didn't you hear what my friend said? She said she wanted to go with you. What do you mean by not saying a word? Liu Chaoga looked at Fang Yan and said, You go back. This matter has nothing to do with you. Fang Yan shook his head and said, Can I go at this time? These people are vicious and cunning, and they can do anything. If I don't go with you, I'm afraid you won't have any chance of winning the negotiation. Don't worry, no matter what happens, I'll stand by your side. Fang Yan's worries weren't unreasonable. If they really wanted to negotiate with Liu Chaoga, a phone call or a text message would be enough to inform her. They were giving her flesh and kidnapping her. It didn't look like they were going to negotiate. Now, someone very important to Liu Chaoga had been taken hostage by them. If they captured Liu Chaoga, would there still be a need to negotiate? The other party could directly decide the outcome. Liu Chaoga looked hesitant and finally nodded and said, Thank you. Fang Yan smiled and didn't speak. Liu Chaoga drove, and Fang Yan sat in the back, accompanying and supervising the bald man and the long-haired man, who tried to kidnap her, but were kidnapped by Fang Yan. To Fang Yan's surprise, without the help of the bandits, Liu Chaoga drove her BMW to an old neighborhood. The car stopped in front of the villa, and Liu Chaoga pushed the door open and ran to knock. No one answered, and the villa's yard was strangely quiet. Liu Chaoga knocked again, and the door of the living room opened. The mute nanny ran to open the door with a frightened expression. She saw Liu Chaoga and desperately gestured her not to go in. It was dangerous inside. Lu Chaoga nodded, but still stubbornly walked past her. Fang Yin drove the bald man and the long-haired man out of the car like ducks and took them to the villa's yard. "Are all your men up there?" Fang Yin asked. "Yes," the bald man replied, and there was a flash of fierceness in his eyes. Their men were all up there, and Fang Yin would soon get the retribution he deserved. "How many of you are there?" The bald man didn't answer. 10, or more than 10. Fang Yin looked at the long-haired man and asked, "No. Do they all have guns?" "No," the long-haired man replied. Fang Yin narrowed his eyes and smiled. It's not a good habit to lie. He kicked the bald man's calf in the knee, and with a crisp crack, the bald man's calf was broken by Fang Yin's kick. The bald man screamed, lost his balance, and fell to the ground. The long-haired man turned to escape, but Fang Yin had already grabbed his neck. Crack! Without waiting for him to react, he had already stretched out his hand and broken the bones in his other arm. The long-haired man fell to the ground and screamed. Fang Yin walked over and stepped on his ankle. With a light tap of his toes, the bones in his foot were broken by Fang Yin. Both the bald man and the long-haired man had completely lost the ability to fight. Hearing the sound behind them, Lu Chaoga and the mute nanny turned to look at the same time. Fang Yin smiled and said embarrassedly, "I'm going to lighten the load first. There are many people inside. I'm afraid I can't beat them." Chapter 183. The room was shrouded in darkness. The air was filled with the choking smell of mold, as well as a disgusting stench that made people want to vomit. If you hadn't seen it with your own eyes, it would be hard to imagine that there was such a human leg in the world. Scorched black, withered, full of holes, white skin and green veins could not be seen, only strange scars of different sizes and blood dripping. Disgusting. The handsome man frowned deeply. He looked at the flesh that had been peeled off and said with disgust, "Is this still a woman's leg? Look at it without a trace of lust. Wild animals are nothing more than this." The woman's body was tied to the iron chair. One leg was tied to the chair leg, and the other was stretched out. Blood was rapidly seeping out from several places where the skin had been cut off. The bright red blood dripped drop by drop on the brown carpet in the room, mixed with the damp and mold smell of the old carpet that had not been changed for decades. This was the source of the stench. "He is a butcher." The man pointed at the big man who had cut off the meat and said, "He used to kill pigs. Now he kills people. He can kill a pig with one cut without any pain, and he can make a pig scream in pain for 3 to 5 hours without stopping. Humans are the same." "Mad dog! You mad dog!" The woman roared hoarsely. Her face was ferocious, and there was a murderous light in her eyes. No one would doubt that if she was given a chance, she would cut off the man's flesh and stuff it in her mouth, chewing it with blood and swallowing it without hesitation. "Thank you for the compliment." The man laughed. "Hearing you scold me like that, it reminds me of a story. It is said that King Long Tan's father-in-law once said that his son-in-law was a scalper and a dog. You scolded me as a mad dog. Isn't that the same as King Long Tan? I quite admire him. You mad dog demon. I was wrong to trust you. No, no, no." The man waved his hand. "You've never believed me. You just had to use me. If not for me, if not for us, would King Long Tan return the fat piece of meat that he ate to you? Impossible. You're even more cruel and disgusting than him. I've never denied that." The man said, "But so what? Verbal attacks are also a form of attack, but that's too weak. All these years, you've been cursing and spitting at King Long Tan every day, but haven't they been living a good life?" The man gave Butcher a look, and Butcher raised the blade and stabbed the thigh. Up. The woman struggled desperately. The man sat on the chair, enjoying the woman's screams and ugly expression. He said, "To be honest, your only value to me now is to make your beautiful niece listen to me. You don't know her at all." The woman's body was shaking in pain, and her teeth were chattering. "She won't give in. No one can change what she has decided." "Really?" The man held the teacup in his hand and gently blew on the tea leaves. "I don't think she has the capital to bargain with me," he said. Dong dong. There was a knock on the door. A middle-aged man in a black suit walked in and said in a deep voice, Young master, they're here. Hmm? Baldy and Ruler are lying in a yard, injured. Ha, how exciting. The man laughed. Then let's invite our young Miss Lu and her personal guardian angel in. I believe that she will soon know that she has made a stupid decision. The man responded and turned to leave. Soon, Lu Chaoga and Fong Yin walked in. Although the room was dim, Lu Chaoga could still see her aunt tied to the chair. She stood at the door of the study and said in a cold and resolute tone, I know what you want. If anything happens to her, I'd rather destroy that thing than give it to you. TSK, TSK, TSK. This is not the negotiation quality that an excellent heir should have. The man sitting on the sofa turned around and smiled at Lu Xiaoga, who had a fierce look in his eyes. The first reaction of Fong Yin when he walked into the room was to hold his breath because of the stench of blood on the ground. Then his eyes were attracted by the horribly injured woman on the chair. When he saw the handsome man who had turned around, he almost stopped breathing for a moment. It was like a thunderbolt in his head. He was shaken to the point that he was about to fall and woke up instantly. It's you. Fong Yin looked at the man in surprise and said. The man looked at Fong Yin and said, Mr. Fong, we meet again. Fong Yin looked at the handsome man and looked at the woman sitting on the chair whose head was burned. Finally, his eyes stopped on Lu Chaoga's face and murmured, I understand. I understand everything. When he said this, he felt as if his chest was stabbed by a knife. He didn't have time to defend and didn't know how to dodge. He just took the knife. He let the cold blade pierce into his flesh and the deepest part of his bones. Agitated, the pain penetrated his heart. Lu Chaoga's face was pale, but she insisted on not turning around and making eye contact with Fong Yin. She was running away. Do you feel like you've been betrayed? Do you feel like you're a failure? That you've been a pitiful chess piece from beginning to end? The man laughed and said, The woman you trusted the most, the woman you gave everything for, the woman you saved her life. To her, you're just a qualified bodyguard, a pretty good fighter, and a clown who's not trusted but is indispensable. Ha ha ha, Mr. Fong. You must be feeling terrible right now, right? Lu Chaoga said through gritted teeth. This is between us. It has nothing to do with him. Yes, this handsome man was Lu Shu, one of Hua Qing's four beauties. Lu Shu was known as Hua Qing's lover and Jiang Zhuliu's good friend. Back then, Lu Chaoga's aunt, Wang Li, crawled out of a burning car and was saved by the Lu family. They healed her severely injured body, provided her with a place to hide, and provided her with many resources and bombs to take revenge on the Jiang father and son. Because of the Lu family's help, Wang Li survived. Also because of them adding fuel to the fire, the Jiang father and son were forced into a desperate situation and had to cut off one of their arms to protect themselves. Otherwise, how could they take revenge on Qiang Long Tan and take back the shares of Longta Group that belonged to her father if they only relied on the power of a disabled person like Wang Li and Lu Chaoga, who was closely monitored by the Jiang family? However, this answer was too shocking and cruel for Fong Yin. It turned out that the truth was not far away, but he was the only one who was kept in the dark. How can it not be related? Lu Shu corrected the problem in Lu Chaoga's words with a smile. If it wasn't for Mr. Fong's wonderful performance, how could our show go so smoothly? If it wasn't for his important appearance, how could you take revenge on Qiang Long Tan and his son and get what you wanted? Also, the death of that security guard seems like Mr. Fong was very angry at that time. You should be in a better mood now, right? Lu Shu raised his cup to Fong Yin and said with a smile, Mr. Fong, I've always wanted to say something to thank you. But the last time we met, the time and place weren't right. So now, I'll use tea in place of wine to toast you. With that, he finished the cup of warm tea in one gulp. Fong Yan's face was ashen, but he stood there without saying a word. At this time, words have lost the power they should have. Lu Shu felt bored, so he turned his eyes back to Lu Chaoga's face and said, Miss Lu Chaoga, it seems that your bodyguard, Mr. Fong, will no longer help you after knowing the truth about you deceiving him. If that's the case, you don't even have the last bit of capital to negotiate with me. In that case, things will become much simpler. He stretched out his hand to Lu Chaoga and said, You know you can't resist. So give it to me. Give me everything I want. Lu Chaoga was as cold as ice. Her fingernails pierced into her flesh and blood came out. She said, "When I came in, I've already made my attitude clear. Let her go and guarantee our safety. Otherwise, I'd rather destroy it." "It's really surprising that you're so uncooperative." Lu Shu shook his head and sighed. "Lu Chaoga, do you know? I've always had a high opinion of you. I feel that in this vast Huaqing, in terms of intelligence and endurance, no one is better than you. You clearly know that you can't reverse the situation, yet you insist on bargaining with me. What's the point? How can I guarantee your safety? If I say that as long as you give me the thing, I'll guarantee that you'll live a long and safe life. Do you believe me?" Lu Shu stood up. His body was tall and slender, and his temperament was outstanding. His eyes were deep, and his face was as handsome as a European male model. Huaqing's public lover was a well-deserved reputation. He walked in front of Lu Chaoga and said with a smile, "You won't believe me. No matter what I say, you won't believe me. People like you won't believe anyone at all. I have to say, this is something that we can't imagine. Since verbal promises can't gain your trust, then we can only use our brains to think. What's in it for me to kill you? You should know, what I need is your father's work. Lu Jing, that trash, we sent him to hide for decades, but he still couldn't get the core technology we wanted. So at this time, we have no choice but to ask you to help us. We were friends in the past, and we'll still be friends in the future. Is that right?" Chapter 184. "I agree," Lu Chaoga said, decisive and without any hesitation. Lu Shu was slightly stunned, then laughed and gave Lu Chaoga a thumbs up. "It seems that my evaluation is correct. When it comes to scheming and intelligence, you are the best in Huaqing. Those red foxes, poisonous spiders, and Scholar Zhuang Yuan, none of them can compare to you." "I just have nowhere else to go," Lu Chaoga said. "I see the facts in front of me clearly, and I accept them." "See and accept," Lu Shu said. "There are too many people who see it clearly and don't accept it, and even more people who don't see it clearly and don't accept it. So, our deal is settled?" "Yes," Lu Chaoga said. "I agree to transfer my father's technology to you for a fee." "Transfer for a fee?" Lu Shu's eyes turned cold. "Tell me, what are your conditions?" "You should know that my father used his technology to buy shares, so he could get 49% of the Loan2 Group's shares. If I transfer the technology to you, I will lose my shares and everything in the Loan2 Group. I will be kicked out by the Loan2 Group and Qianglong Tan and his son. I think the Lu family also hopes to plant a spy in Loan2, right? Lu Jing is dead, and you need a new person to slow down Loan2's progress. At least, it's a good thing to have someone to pass on information." "Yes, I really need such a person." Lu Shu nodded. "Anyone with foresight knows that energy is the core strategy and development direction of the future. The Lu family entered the energy field a long time ago. At that time, the Loan2 Group hadn't been born yet. Even your parents and Qianglong Tan hadn't met yet. Unfortunately, some things can't be done by humans. It's all in the hands of God." Lu Shu said regretfully, "Our energy company's many years of hard work can't even compare to your father's idea. The Loan2 Corporation caught up to us and stole our limelight, as well as our orders. Of course, there's also the unpredictable future. However, we're not in a hurry at all. He had been waiting for an opportunity. Your father and Qianglong Tan didn't share the same ideals. So Qianglong Tan wanted to make your father a mere figurehead. So he secretly met with Lu Jing, wanting to poach Lu Jing to compete with your father. He even hoped that Lu Jing could improve the Rubik's Cube technology according to his own ideals. Ha ha! Qianglong Tan and your late father must not know that Lu Jing is a member of the Lu family. It's a pity that Lu Jing, that good-for-nothing, hasn't produced any results after joining Loan2 Group for over 10 years. Otherwise, we wouldn't have wasted so much time and energy on him. Time is money, and no one can afford to waste it." Lu Chaoga stared coldly at the willow tree and said, "Are you saying all this to reject my proposal?" "Not bad," said the willow tree. "We gave Lu Jing a few decades, but what did he give us in return? He had nothing. Now, we have completely lost our patience. I don't believe it. Lu Chaoga, I don't believe that these two crazy women who want to eat me alive and drink my blood will do their best to help me. I don't believe it at all. Violence may not seem very civilized, but sometimes it's very useful, isn't it? The willow tree pointed at Wang Li, who was sitting on the chair and bleeding, and said, "You give me the technology, and I'll give it to your aunt. This is our condition for the transfer." "I don't agree," said Lu Chaoga. "You should know that I'm not a generous man." The willow tree shrugged his shoulders indifferently. "You don't have the capital to bargain with me. I want you to evaluate the Rubik's Cube technology or 49% of Long2's shares, and then return what belongs to me, said Lu Chaoga. "If you want the Rubik's Cube technology or Long2 group shares, I can sell them to you. But I want money. I want the same value as the technology and shares. Aunt's body needs a lot of expensive medicine to maintain, and the safety of me and her also needs to be guaranteed. Once I get the money, I will leave with Aunt. Otherwise, even if I give you the technology or shares, it will still be difficult for us to survive. What's the point of such an exchange?" Lu Chaoga stared coldly at the willow tree, with a posture of giving up everything, including her life, and said, "Aunt and I, what's the point of us living one more day?" The willow tree frowned. From his point of view, Lu Chaoga's worry was indeed necessary. If she used the technology or shares to exchange for Aunt, the two of them, without any protection and dependence, even survival would be a luxury. At that time, they would be hit by a car while walking on the road or burned to death in a house fire. It would all depend on their mood. The willow tree hesitated for a moment and said, "All right, I'll give you a price that I can accept, and I hope you must accept, because on top of this price, you and Madame Wang's lives are also included. What do you think?" The willow tree stretched out 2 fingers and said, "This price, is it enough?" "I don't agree," said Lu Chaoga. Lu Chaoga, the willow tree's face was gloomy, and he sneered and said, "Do you know what you're doing? I hope you'd better choose carefully." "How careful do I need to be?" said Lu Chaoga. "My life and Aunt's life are both here. You use our lives as a threat. I use mine and her life to discuss the conditions. It's fair to both of us." The willow tree's eyes flashed, and he said, "I can't agree to your price." "Then give me a price that I can really accept," said Lu Chaoga. "It seems that we can't reach a consensus today. I can wait." "What about her?" the willow tree said with a smile. He looked at Wang Li with a smile and said, "Although our butcher's method of killing pigs is very clever, and he can at least let her bleed for 5 hours without dying. But now more than half of the time has passed, right? Are you sure you want to continue waiting?" Lu Chaoga looked at Aunt Wang Li and asked, "Aunt, are you willing to continue waiting?" "Yes," Wang Li shouted. "I am willing." "Ha! I'm already a dead person. I should have died long ago. What's there that I'm not willing to do? I'm already burned like this. My body is almost burnt to charcoal. What's there to be afraid of when you use a knife to cut my flesh?" Good cut, good cut. I've long wanted to cut it to see if the flesh inside is red or black like the outside. Good cut, cut open so that I can see that my flesh is also red, my blood is also red. Just like you guys. Wang Li's whole body was covered with scars, and her mind had entered a state of madness. She laughed out loud, as if it wasn't her flesh that was being cut, and it wasn't her blood that was flowing, and the pain was even more so not her body. The spirit and imposing manner that this woman displayed, as if she was facing death with equanimity, made everyone present feel deeply shocked. This woman who didn't even have the strength to truss a chicken, this woman who would fall with one push, this woman who could die at any time. She actually made these murderous fellows feel a chill down their spine. Lu Chaoga, don't agree to them. Even if I die, don't agree to them. They're a bunch of mad dogs, they're demons. They'll get what they want, and then they'll kill us all. I've long known that such a day would come. I've been guarding against them. What you have now is what your parents left for you. They exchanged their lives for it. As long as you have those things, you can live. They won't be willing to touch you. Whether it's Qiang Long Tan or Lu Yingyan, they won't dare to touch you." Lu Chaoga's eyes were red. She pointed to her Aunt Wang Li and said, She's willing to wait. Lunatic, Lu Shu scolded. Your whole family is lunatic. Lu Chaoga's face was expressionless. Ignoring Lu Shu's insult, she just attentively waited for a result. If the result didn't come, she was willing to wait. The willow tree stretched out its palm and said, Lu Xiaoga, this is the highest authority I have, and also the highest price I can give you. If you still don't agree, then let's end our negotiation here. Double. Lu Xiaoga said in a straightforward tone. This number can let Aunt take medicine to prolong her life. This number can let us not worry about food and clothing outside. Lu Shu flew into a rage and scolded. Lu Xiaoga, you stinking bitch, don't push your luck. Do you think I don't dare to kill you? Those things may not have much value in my hands, but in your hands, you know better than anyone else the profits they can bring you. If I die, you'll have nothing. Lu Xiaoga said, You just said that you're not a generous man. Since you're not generous, then you certainly won't have a conflict with the huge and limitless money. I don't believe you have the guts to ask for the Rubik's Cube from Jiang family's father and son. As for other means, do you think your IQ is worthy of playing with them? Lu Shu laughed. His expression was ferocious, but he was able to make a sneering sound. Lu Xiaoga, I really chose the right opponent. If I knew that I was raising a tiger, I should have gotten rid of you early that year. In that case, why do I need to waste my breath now? I really feel sorry for you. Lu Xiaoga said coldly. Lu Shu stared at Lu Xiaoga for a long time and said, I can't make the decision on this number. Then call Lu Yingyan. The muscles on Lu Shu's face twitched. He took out his mobile phone from his pocket and walked to the window. Soon enough, he came back to the group. Obviously, the other side had made the final decision. He looked at Lu Xiaoga and said, Congratulations. Deal. Lu Shu clapped his hands, and a man wearing glasses sent a thick stack of documents. Lu Shu pointed to the documents and said to Lu Xiaoga, Sign on it, and the money will be transferred to your designated account. Lu Xiaoga pointed to Fong Yin and said, Transfer the money to his account. Fong Yin was shocked. He thought that although this woman deceived him, she was generous and loyal. A flaw cannot obscure a jade. Chapter 185. Everyone stared at Lu Xiaoga, dumbfounded. Even Wang Li, who was suffering from torture, was shocked. Of course, because of her skin condition, her shocked expression was not very obvious. Lu Xiaoga, are you crazy? The willow tree looked at Lu Xiaoga and said, Do you know how much that is? That is 1 billion. What if he doesn't admit it? What if he doesn't give it to you? Do you know what you were doing? You were playing with fire. Wang Li also shouted in a hoarse voice, Lu Xiaoga, you actually believed a man? Stupid. Stupid. In this world, where is there a man worthy of trust? No, not even one. You can't do this. You will destroy everything. You will have nothing. Lu Xiaoga, I won't allow you to do this. Lu Xiaoga was unmoved, calmly looked at the willow tree, and said, This is my money. I have the right to dispose of it. This does not violate our negotiation conditions, right? Yes. The willow tree nodded. But you have betrayed him. Why would he help you? The willow tree looked at Fong Yin with a smile and said, I don't think he is a gentleman. Besides, even if he is a gentleman also loves money, right? I believe him. Lu Xiaoga said, In such a situation, do you think that we, 2 weak women, can leave this city with 1 billion yuan? I think, with your style of doing things, I am afraid that the completion of our transaction will be the best time for you to take action, right? No. The willow tree shook his head. Although I am not a generous man, I am a sentimental man. Towards women, especially the women I like, I still know how to be tender to the fairer sex. Even if you don't do it yourself, you will spread the news. At that time, all kinds of people, killers, gangsters, they will also come looking for me. How can I deal with them? What can you use to stop them? Instead of letting you or them take the money, it is better to give it to the people who have helped me. The willow tree laughed and said, What if I don't do it and don't spread the news? Won't you suffer a great loss? If you don't do anything, then he will temporarily keep the money for me. I believe in his character. I believe in him more than I believe in you, Lu Xiaoga said. As long as the money isn't with us, it's meaningless for you to kill us. It's just 2 murders on you. I don't think young Master Lu would do such a stupid thing. Wonderful, the willow tree applauded. To be honest, you women really bring me surprises all the time. The problem is, even if I transfer the money to his account, what if I kill both of you at the same time after the contract is signed? You can't do it. Lu Chaoga said, if that's the case, I have to transfer the money to his account. If he could take risks for me, why can't I take risks for him? That makes sense. The willow tree looked at Fong Yin and said, I hope you won't disappoint her trust in you. However, don't you care that she's using you? Oh no, it's not that she's using you, but she's using you again. I know you're good. If you're not here, I don't even know what I'll do. What does it have to do with you? Fong Yin said with a sneer. Whether I give it to her or not, it's between me and her. Do I need you to arrange it in the middle? Blocking someone's path to wealth was like killing their parents. This guy actually dared to stop him from getting rich. It really made Fong Yin angry. I'm just saying. The willow tree raised his hand in surrender. I'm just talking too much. Since she asked us to transfer the money to your account, then provide your Swiss bank account. Fong Yin was stunned for a moment and said, Swiss bank? Can't China CITIC Bank do? The willow tree's eyes made Fong Yin feel that he was being despised. He said angrily, how many people with a salary of 3,000 yuan a month want to open an account in a Swiss bank? As you wish. The willow tree said indifferently, as long as the money is transferred to you smoothly, it's fine. Fong Yin provided his bank card information. This was the card that must be used when working at school. The monthly salary would be directly transferred to this card. After getting the information, the willow tree sent out the number. After a while, the willow tree received a feedback message. After he answered a phone call, he said to Fong Yin, the money has been transferred to the card. You can check it. I know, Fong Yin said. He had received the payment information sent by the bank with a text message on his mobile phone. He didn't know what the consideration of the sender was. The limit of each transfer was 50 million yuan, and the same amount was transferred 20 times. After counting the zeros for a while, Fong Yin said, the number is correct. Lu Chaoga didn't talk nonsense and simply signed her name on the contract. Lu Chaoga, you idiot. Wang Li almost went mad with anger. You'll regret it. You'll definitely regret it. What Lu Chaoga gave to Fong Yin was what she had now. That was what her parents exchanged for with their lives. It was Wang Li's lifelong effort and painstaking effort. Now Lu Chaoga gave it to Fong Yin so easily to a man who was still quite strange to them. Wang Li's legs were bleeding, her heart was bleeding, and her body was almost about to explode. The bespectacled middle-aged man put away the contract, put it in a password box, and immediately left the scene under the escort of a few armed men in black. These people were quite professional and extremely vigilant. From now on, the 49% of Loan 2 Group's shares held by Lu Chaoga and the core technology related to the Rubik's Cube under these shares would be changed to be owned by the Willow Tree. They only needed to make some supplementary procedures. This was not a problem at all for the Lu family with a deep background. The Willow Tree looked at Fong Yin and Lu Chaoga and said, it was really wonderful. This was the most unforgettable negotiation I've ever experienced. Lu Chaoga, you're really a fearsome opponent. I have to say, it was very pleasant to work with you. At the same time, it was also frightening. However, it's because of this different feeling that I'm still looking forward to our next cooperation. Thank you for your compliment. Lu Chaoga said, I don't want to have another chance to work with you. Once in a lifetime is enough. That's a pity. The Willow Tree shrugged and said helplessly, although I'm a little reluctant, there's no such thing as a never-ending banquet in this world. This big show is still coming to an end. The Willow Tree said, we've disturbed you for too long. It's time for us to leave. Everyone goodbye. After getting what he wanted, the Willow Tree didn't even look at Wang Li. For him, it was really something that affected his appetite. He needed good wine. He needed beautiful girls. He needed a beautiful and sexy drunkenness. Wait! Fong Yin suddenly shouted. The Willow Tree stopped and turned around. He looked at Fong Yin with great interest and said, Mr. Fong, is there anything else? You've finished talking about your matters, but we haven't started talking about ours yet. Why are you in such a hurry to leave? Fong Yin said aloud. Oh, really? What do you want to talk to me about? You hurt me. Shouldn't you give me some compensation? Fong Yin said. I'm not a person without a temper. What compensation do you want? How about giving me 1 billion? The willow tree laughed loudly, extremely proud and arrogant. While he was laughing, more than a dozen bodyguards inside and outside the study surrounded Fong Yin. There were also several guys holding guns, and the cold muzzles were aimed at Fong Yin's chest or head. Are you sick? The willow tree's laughter stopped abruptly, and he said in an unfriendly tone, Mr. Fong, you just got 1 billion. That money is enough for you to squander for a lifetime. You can live in the best house, drive the most expensive car, and play with the sexiest woman in the world. Do you know that? Well, it should have been done by me. I also thought about killing all of you after the contract was signed. It should be mine, and no one could take it away. You're afraid of failure. You don't dare to take risks. Fong Yin said, If you don't want to give me 1 billion, then I'll take one of your legs. That's not too much, right? The muscles on Lu Shujun's face twitched twice, and he said in a sharp voice, The reason why I didn't do that is because I just think. What was that sentence again? Leave a line in life, and you'll meet again in the future. I've been using this sentence to encourage myself, and I'm also giving it to you to learn. Afraid? That's a big joke. This room, including this courtyard, are all my people inside and outside. My people have guns in their hands, and every muzzle is aimed at you. Why would I be afraid? Why would I be afraid? Lu Shu looked at Lu Chaoga and kindly reminded her, I don't mind wasting time, but I think your aunt can't hold on any longer. Lu Chaoga looked at her aunt, Wang Li. Her body was getting weaker and weaker. After the madness, her physical strength was overdrawn, and it seemed that she really couldn't hold on any longer. It's just a leg, I don't need too much time. Fong Yin said. Shoot. Lu Shu shouted. The bodyguards received the order, but before they could pull the trigger, Fong Yin had casually pulled out a book from the bookcase behind him, tore off a stack of pages, and threw them toward the bodyguards in black. The soft paper was infused with the power of Tai Chi, and it actually split into pieces, and each piece was as hard as a knife. They seemed to have eyes, and with the whistling sound of the wind, they charged toward all the enemies in front of them. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The bodyguards in black were cut one after another, and the guns in their hands were scattered on the ground. Flowers and leaves could hurt people, but paper was like a knife. Chapter 186. Victory or Defeat in a Breath's Time. Fong Yin was right. The time he used was very short. Very, very short. He didn't even have time to blink his eyes. This battle that Lu Shu thought would be fierce, long and cruel was already over. The truth was too cruel. Apart from Lu Shu, none of the bodyguards who stood in front of him were spared. Some people's noses were cut off, some people's fingers were cut off, and some people's faces were cut open, revealing the white bones inside. They lay on the ground, screaming and wailing in pain. They had completely lost their previous awe-inspiring, ferocious appearance that made people's hearts beat rapidly. He's a monster. He's a monster. A bodyguard in black who was not very knowledgeable was lying on the ground, pointing at Fong Yin and shouting in horror. He used witchcraft. If it wasn't for the fact that he didn't know witchcraft, how could he hurt them like this with just a few pieces of paper? Monster? Fong Yin sneered. That was only because their starting point was too low and they saw too little. There's a saying that the ancients scattered beans to form soldiers and crossed the river on a reed. Fong Yin didn't see it with his own eyes, nor did he hear of such a master from his family or elders. Just like the rest of the world, he thought it was a made-up myth. But flying flowers and leaves to hurt people, flying on roofs and walls, flying on water, these really do exist. Fong Yin saw with his own eyes. The Lingnan wild crane Zhang Shizong only used 2 pieces of bark from a tree to cross the river. The Shaolin Temple Scripture Hall's elder Ji Ji's lion roar could break wood and split stone, injuring people's bones and organs. The Changbai Eagle King's iron claws could break through steel, from strength to chi, from Qi to Dan. This was a necessary path for those who pursued martial Tao. Zhang Chen was at the stage of using strength, while Fang Yin was at the stage of using Qi. If he met a grandmaster who used Dan, then, no matter where Fang Yin was, if he was followed by such a master, Fang Yin would only have one end, death. But, in this big world, how many grandmasters could practice Immortal Dan? Of course, this was a secret of the martial Tao world. Whether it was the bodyguards lying on the ground, or the rich young master Lu Shu, this was something they had never encountered before. To them, it was a strange, novel, and frightening world. Lu Shu's complexion was deathly pale, his eyes firmly staring at Fang Yin. How'd he do it? Even now, the willow tree still found it hard to accept everything that had just happened. He didn't think that Fang Yin was a monster, but he knew the skills of his bodyguards very well. They were elites he had hired from various martial arts schools or bodyguard companies with high salaries. The other two were old men who followed his father. They were extremely powerful, and it was not a problem for them to fight 3 to 5 people alone. The 2 experts he had asked for from his father's side were fighting 1 against 10 as if it were child's play. However, why were they so weak in front of Fang Yin? Why did they crumble at the slightest touch? Also, that paper, he had seen it with his own eyes. It was a book that Fang Yin had randomly pulled out from the bookshelf. Just a few pieces of paper torn from the book. How could it cut off a person's fingers? Since you asked, I don't mind giving you a demonstration, Fang Yin said. His left hand held half of the book, and the right hand tore out a page and lightly flicked it between his fingers. Whoosh! The white paper flew towards the willow tree, flew past his cheek, and then fiercely pierced into the wall behind the willow tree. A thin red line appeared on the willow tree's face, and then the red line began to thicken. As the blood around the red line gathered more and more, it began to flow downwards. Thus, the willow tree's face became bright red. The willow tree stretched out his hand to touch it, but another piece of paper flew over. Whoosh! 2 of the willow tree's fingers were cut off. The severed fingers fell to the ground, but they were still slightly trembling. Don't move, Fang Yin said. Don't move. What are you trying to do? The 10 fingers were connected to the heart, and the willow tree was trembling in pain. Negotiate, Fang Yin said. Negotiate what? What do I have to negotiate with you? What's there to negotiate? The willow tree was furious. The wound on his face grew larger, and the blood flowed faster and faster. The blood flowed down his face, nose, lips, and then into his mouth. He couldn't wipe it, and didn't dare to move. He could only let it flow freely, and his mouth was filled with blood. Fang Yin tore out another piece of paper and lightly flicked it. Whoosh! The other side of the willow tree's face was cut. Just like before, a red line appeared where the white paper had cut, and then it spread into a small river, and finally flowed all over his face, mouth, and body. Both his cheeks were injured, and both were bleeding. This was the willow tree's most embarrassing and unlucky moment. Don't be angry, Fang Yin said. Anger won't solve the problem. Fang Yin, I'm warning you, don't whoosh. This time, the white paper cut between the willow tree's eyebrows. The paper knife made a small cut between his eyebrows. I don't want to warn you, Fang Yin said. I don't like people warning me. The willow tree felt wronged and sad. Didn't you warn me just now? You said if I didn't give you 1 billion, you'd take away one of my legs. Why can you warn me, and I can't warn you? I'm warning you. I'm warning you. If you don't hit me, I'll definitely warn you. What do you want? The willow tree asked. I told you. 1 billion in compensation, or one of your legs. Impossible. No rush. We can talk slowly, Fang Yin said. Just like how you forced Headmaster Lu to sign the agreement. You said she didn't have any other choice. I don't think you have any other choice. You don't dare to kill me, the willow tree sneered. Fang Yin, you don't dare to kill me. Even if you kill me, do you think you can kill everyone in this house? Just now, someone sent out the contract. They're all witnesses. If I die, you won't be able to escape either. When that time comes, no matter how big the world is, there won't be a place for you. You'll lose your reputation and everything you have right now. You'll have to hide everywhere under the name of a murderous demon. Fang Yin, don't take the risk. Whoosh! A paper knife slashed across the willow tree's face, then flew into the study's door. With a bang, the paper knife pierced through the wooden door and disappeared without a trace. Honestly, you're really not a likable person, Fang Yin said. You're always acting like you're above everyone else, like there's no one you can't defeat, and there's nothing you can't do. Of course, I can't kill you openly. How can a good person casually kill others? I can't kill you, but I can destroy you. Don't you call yourself Huaqing's public lover? What kind of shameless person would give themselves such a nickname? Although Fang Yin hadn't torn the paper, the willow tree already felt that he had been stabbed. This time, it was a stab to the heart. Please, public lover is a nickname given to me by others. What does it have to do with me? How can I do such a thing? I don't like it, Fang Yin said. Seeing the smile and evil look on Fang Yin's face, the willow tree shouted warily, Fang Yin, what do you want to do? Destroy you, Fang Yin said. Fang Yin began to tear the paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The willow tree was scared out of his wits, and his legs trembled. This guy tore so many pieces of paper. How many knives did he prepare? He turned around and wanted to escape, but wouldn't it be too embarrassing to escape in front of his opponent? He thought again. At this time, if he didn't run, he would lose face. Thus, the willow tree turned around and wanted to escape from this study, which was no different to a slaughterhouse. Fang Yin raised his hand. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. The stack of paper turned into flying knives, flying towards the willow tree's face and body. Thump! The willow tree couldn't dodge in time and fell to the ground. His clothes were in tatters, cut by the paper knives, and his clothes were in tatters. What was even more shocking was his face. His face was covered in wounds. Countless wounds seeped out countless strands of blood. The blood strands crisscrossed and connected like a strange red electric net. With such injuries, even if the Dr. King Qin Luo personally treated him, it would be difficult for him to recover. The elegant young master of Huaqing yesterday had become the ugly Spider-Man of today. The willow tree lost his public lover title, and Fang Yin had moved up one place on the Huaqing handsome man list. Fang Yin used his strength very cleverly, destroying his appearance, making it difficult for him to be treated, but not letting him bleed to death. Even now, the willow tree was still conscious. He felt an unbearable itch on his face, as if there were countless ants crawling and biting his face, but he didn't dare to touch it. His eyes were blurry, and his eyelashes were stained with blood. Fang Yin walked over, squatted in front of the willow tree, and said, "Your heart is too dark. You should take it out to bask in the sunlight." As Fang Yin spoke, he grabbed the willow tree's collar. He used a bit of force and dragged the willow tree's body up from the ground. He dragged the willow tree to the window of the study and suddenly pulled open the thick and stale curtains. While large amounts of light poured in, illuminating the damp and moldy study without any dark corners. The room was filled with a fragrant smell. It was the dead bodies of mite and mold. Wang Li painfully closed her eyes. She couldn't get used to this kind of light. She hadn't opened the curtains for decades. Never before. Fang Yin opened a window and lifted the willow tree's body out of the window. The willow tree's body hung in the air and could fall at any time. What are you doing?" The willow tree was really scared. He asked in shock. "You can't kill me, you said. You only want one of my legs. I did say that." Fang Yin was a bit embarrassed, as if he had lied to someone before, and patiently explained, "I was worried that if I said it too seriously, you would resist too fiercely." Fang Yin's fingers loosened, and the willow tree's body fell, bathed in the sunlight, the wind by his ears. Chapter 187. All dead. The young man sitting on the sofa asked in a deep voice. Gloomy. Handsome. He held a glass of whiskey with ice in his hand, the amber liquid swaying in the transparent glass. A Poland versus Argentina football game was playing on the big screen. The TV was silent, like a pantomime chasing after intense skills. An old man in a suit stood behind the sofa and said softly, "All dead. Did you find the bodies?" "Found them." The old man said, "They were not treated badly. They all died well." The young man raised his head and drank the glass in one gulp. He turned the empty glass in one hand and said sarcastically, "They really cherish heroes. That Fong Yan's strength is indeed unfathomable. He is not someone ordinary people can deal with." The old man said, "They are too weak, still too impatient." The young man said, "If we wait a little longer, maybe we won't be so passive." In this gamble, he had lost half of the dragon diagram. What a pity. It's just a beautiful empty shell. Losing is losing. Young master will always have a chance to turn things around. The old man gently advised, "That's right, but I still feel a little uncomfortable. This is what I have been advising young master. Draw the knife and see blood. If you can't see blood, then don't let people know that you are holding a knife in your hand. After this lesson, young master will think more comprehensively and thoughtfully in the future. It's not a bad thing." "How do I compare with him?" the young man asked. The old man was silent. "Just say it. It's hard to say." "What's hard to say?" "Young master, I understand, but I can't see through it. Fong Yin, I thought I understood and I thought I saw through it. In fact, I didn't understand and didn't see through it." The old man said, "I saw him standing there, stabbed him with a knife, and found that it was only his shadow. What a difficult guy." The man smiled bitterly. "Say, isn't this the so-called fate? When the time is right, why did he appear? This is fate." The man said. A car horn sounded outside. The old man glanced at the man and said, "Young master, the master is here. Secretary called me just now." "What's he doing here?" The man frowned. He downed the whiskey in his glass in one gulp and said, "Go out and get it." The car stopped in the courtyard, and Jiang Zhulu quickly walked over to open the door. He said with a smile, "Dad, why are you here? Can't we talk about it when we get back? With your mother nagging at home, it's not easy for us father and son to have a conversation." Kang Long Tan said aloud, "Let's go. Come and play with me. Bend over. Swing. Pa!" The white ball flew straight to the green. "Good ball," Jiang Zhulu praised loudly. "Dad, you're still young. You almost hit the hole in one shot." "A hole in one depends on skill, and even more on luck. It doesn't count," Kang Long Tan said as he walked toward the landing spot with the club in his hand. He stood on the green and gently pushed the small ball into the hole with the putter. He said, "I'd rather make one more putt to ensure that the ball goes into the hole smoothly. A ball in the hole is a good ball. Otherwise, no matter how beautiful your swing is, you won't score." Jiang Zhulu knew that there was a deeper meaning in his father's words, so he nodded and said, "Dad, I understand." "You don't understand." Kang Long Tan shook his head and said without giving his son any face. Jiang Zhulu smiled bitterly and said, "It seems that I've done something to make you unhappy again. You can't wait for me to go home and come here to teach me a lesson. Do you know who has been hiding behind the scenes and going against our Jiang family?" Kang Long Tan handed the club in his hand to Secretary Li behind him, took the towel to wipe his hands, and asked aloud, "Dad, if I don't even know this, you must be quite disappointed in me, right?" Jiang Zhulu said with a smile. "The Liu family established the earliest energy company in Huaqing, and our loan-to group came later to take over. It's natural for them to play some tricks behind the scenes. We've also given them a lot of tricks, haven't we? We all know each other very well. Then do you know that they have far more information than we think?" Kang Long Tan said. "What do they have?" Jiang Zhulu asked. "Looming too." Kang Long Tan said these three words in a cold voice. "What?" Jiang Zhulu was shocked. "Looks like we father and son should have a good chat. Now that the situation has changed, the Jiang family's winter has come. That incident happened overseas without anyone knowing. How could he know the truth of this matter?" Jiang Zhulu said. "Moreover, the ones who did it were all foreigners, and now all of them are dead. Even if they investigate, they won't be able to find you." Kang Long Tan's expression was cold as he said, "What if Wang Li didn't die? Lu Chaoga's aunt? Wang Li didn't die? How could she? Where's she?" Jiang Zhulu looked at his father in surprise and said, "You failed? I was too careless. If I had used another method, this wouldn't have happened." Qianglong Tan said with slight regret. However, it's fortunate that she escaped death and came back to life. If she died, there would be no more hope. Those things would forever be a secret. What a pity. I don't understand, Jiang Zhulu said. I have to admit that Lu Mingtu is a genius scientist. 20 years ago, his research in the field of energy was already at the forefront of the world. Even now, the Rubik's Cube technology is still a difficult problem that energy research labs around the world are working hard to solve. At that time, my views and his were divergent. I hoped to use the Rubik's Cube technology for military use. In that case, we could get a lot of orders from the military. But he wanted the Rubik's Cube to be used for civilian use. He didn't want the thing he created to become a tool to kill people or participate in war. What a smart and pedantic guy. My views and his were opposing, and the contradiction grew bigger and bigger. The work of the research lab could only be temporarily put on hold. Later, I found Lu Jing to replace him. Lu Jing is a member of the Lu family. He has a mistress who gave birth to a son for him. His Swiss bank account often receives large amounts of money. I found a hacker to track it, and the money came from an import and export trading company under the Lu family. Jiang Zhulu said, I warned you before. How could I not notice such an obvious spy? Jiang Long said, there must be something wrong when something is out of the ordinary. After Lu Mingtu died, Lu Jing and I never contacted each other. The strange thing is he obviously hated me, but he didn't want to leave Long Tu. So, isn't it easy to guess what he was plotting? Then why didn't you replace him? I didn't replace him because I wanted my opponents to watch me, so they could see what I was doing, Qianglong Tan said. If a spy's IQ isn't high enough, then who can be sure that he won't be used by us? He's dead. His death has nothing to do with me. Qianglong Tan sternly interrupted his son's words. This is part of their plan. Lu Chaoga had just been killed in a car accident. Everyone was pointing their fingers at me, just when countless people were blaming and attacking me. Lu Jing suddenly jumped out and made a scene, and was smashed to death by a pot of water as soon as he left the house. This really put me in a dilemma, and it's hard to clear my name. The Lu family controlled Wang Li, so father didn't dare to push Lu Chaoga too hard all these years. Jiang Zhulu asked curiously. I always thought that she should have disappeared a long time ago. What good does the existence of such a person do us? I was fishing, Qianglong Tan said. If you want to catch a big fish with delicious meat, you need to have bait that the big fish likes. Lu Chaoga is the most suitable bait, and I've been using it for 20 years. Just when the fish was about to bite, you smashed it away with a stone. Wang Li, she's a useless person. What's there to fish? Jiang Zhulu said disdainfully. I thought so too. Qianglong Tan shook his head and sighed. So, I wanted to erase her from this world. Only dead people can keep secrets. The fewer people who know about it, the safer and more beneficial it is for us. In the end, I was the one in the wrong. Lu Mingtu, that idiot, actually started to play tricks on me. What did he do? Jiang Zhulu asked. After Lu Mingtu's death, I found a notebook in the crevice of his desk. It turns out that he had already solved the final problem of the Rubik's Cube technology, allowing it to be widely used in the civilian sector. Jiang Zhulu was shocked. What about the Rubik's Cube? The real Rubik's Cube is in Wang Li's hands. That's my suspicion, Qianglong Tan said. Wang Li was the closest person to Lu Mingtu and his wife. He often wrote about this in his diary. Moreover, Wang Li herself is also involved in energy research. When Lu Mingtu was the head of the research room, Wang Li was still Lu Mingtu's assistant. Lu Mingtu is likely to have handed over the mature Rubik's Cube technology to Wang Li. The Lu family doesn't know? Jiang Zhulu asked a crucial question. How could they know? Qianglong Tan sneered. If they knew, would Wang Li still be alive? Would Lu Chaoga still be alive? Jiang Zhulu didn't say another word. It was too complicated. It was 100 times more complicated than he had imagined. He knew that his father was wise and decisive, but sometimes he was too sentimental. He had thought that his father had kept Lu Chaoga alive because he couldn't bear to hurt her, and that he wanted to turn her into a true member of the Jiang family. Jiang Zhulu was willing to cooperate, hoping that he could win the girl's heart. As it turned out, she was his father's bait. His father wanted Wang Li to take the bait and contact Lu Chaoga first. To his surprise, Wang Li was able to restrain herself and didn't care about Lu Chaoga at all. And to prevent the Lu family from getting the Rubik's Cube technology, his father had to keep it a secret. However, all of this had been destroyed by him. I can already tell that Wang Li and Chaoga are contacting each other. I can see it in the way Lu Chaoga looks at me. I want to give them some time, and give me some time as well. I've been waiting for more than 20 years. Why wait a day or two? Some talented actors, or actors who think they are always impatient and eager to prove themselves. Qiang Long Tan looked at Jiang Zhulu with pity in his eyes. You've done it the other night. Chapter 188. It was a beautiful day, with clear waters and beautiful mountains. In this picturesque holy land, two men stood on the soft lawn and chatted. What he was talking about was not a trivial family affair, but a sinister and bloody plot. The dagger was revealed when the plot was revealed. Qiang Long Tan looked at Jiang Zhulu with a gentle gaze. There wasn't much anger or blame in his eyes, but more of an education and warning to his son. He said, "You shouldn't have been in such a hurry to make a move on Lu Chaoga." Lu Chaoga's car accident had been planned by Jiang Zhulu. He had just had a heart-to-heart chat with Lu Chaoga, and in the blink of an eye, he had suffered a fatal attack. Who could have imagined that he, Jiang Zhulu, was the one behind it? Moreover, Jiang Zhulu had been the #1 pursuer and guardian of Lu Chaoga for many years. Who in Huaqing didn't know about his deep feelings for her? Everyone in the world could be a suspect, but he would also be the safest one. Jiang Zhulu thought that his perfect psychological battle was full of flaws in his father's eyes. "I didn't know you were fishing," Jiang Zhulu said. He blamed himself, regretted, and also angry at his father. "Why didn't you discuss such an important matter with me?" "Discuss what?" Qiang Long Tan asked. "Do you think I need to discuss it with you?" Jiang Zhulu was speechless. His father still treated him as an insensible child. Or rather, he still felt that he was too immature to fight alongside him for the future of the Jiang family. "I had to do it," Jiang Zhulu said. "I felt that Lu Chaoga's attitude towards us was getting colder and colder. She was getting further and further away from us. She and that Fong Yin were getting closer and closer. I felt that we were about to lose control of her. Didn't you notice? She's starting to become aggressive." I know all about it. I don't blame you for this," Qiang Long Tan said. "Most things in the world are like this. Setting a trap, solving a trap, solving a trap, setting a trap. It was just that his identity was constantly changing. Last time, it was you who set up a trap to kill Lu Chaoga. In the end, Lu Chaoga was lucky enough to be saved by her benefactor, Fong Yin. The Lu family followed closely behind and made their move. They let their pawn in Longta group, Lu Jing, jump out and attack me. Then, they immediately got rid of this pawn and pushed all the blame onto me. They're pressing on, wanting to ruin my reputation and kill me. That's why I turned the tables." Counterattack. Jiang Zhulu looked at Qiang Long Tan with a puzzled expression and asked, "What did you do this time?" "Give Lu Chaoga the share she deserves," Qiang Long Tan said with a smile. "You set this up?" Jiang Zhulu was shocked. Wasn't this the last resort that the Jiang father and son had to make in order to prove their innocence after being repeatedly pressured? That was how the outside observers interpreted it. Even Jiang Zhulu himself thought so. It was also for this reason that Jiang Zhulu felt guilty towards his father. He felt that it was because he didn't get things done that Lu Chaoga cut a piece of Longta group. If the old monster's attack was successful that night, Lu Chaoga would have died on the spot. How could there be so many troubles after that? "Do you remember what your grandfather said about me?" Qiang Long Tan asked aloud. To be honest, even though it was his father standing in front of him, Jiang Zhulu still felt that this question was quite embarrassing. He didn't know how to answer it all. Usually, everyone avoided talking about it. Why did his father bring up this old matter today? A yellow ox and a dog. Qiang Long Tan answered this embarrassing answer himself. "The first time I went to the Ren family to visit your grandparents, I played a game of chess with your grandfather. Before the game was over, your grandfather said these words to me: a yellow ox and a dog. A yellow ox means that I have a calm temperament. When I play chess, I don't fight. I don't want to be greedy. I don't take risks. I push forward step by step, and I don't hesitate to work hard. Qiang Long Tan said with a smile. He wasn't angry because this was not a compliment. A dog means that I am quiet, but I'm always looking for opportunities. Once I find a flaw in my opponent, I will immediately pounce on it. I accept this evaluation. Zhang Zhulu tried to squeeze out a natural smile and said, I also don't think my grandfather is derogatory. Otherwise, why would he agree to marry my mother to you? Qiang Long Tan shook his head and asked, what do you know about dogs? Dogs? It's their nature to attack. If you are targeted by more than 2 dogs at the same time, they will follow you and bark at you, looking for opportunities to pounce on you at any time. But if you throw a bone at them, at this time, they will change their target to fight for that bone. They will be enemies and bite each other. The shares you gave to Lu Chaoga is that bone. Yes. Qiang Long Tan nodded. Lu Chaoga owns 49% of the shares of Longta Group. She got what she deserved. Isn't this the reason why they worked so hard and calculated? I will give them whatever they want. And then, will the Lu family let go of such a big piece of meat? Will they restrain themselves from attacking Lu Chaoga and Wang Li? 2 peaches kill 3 soldiers. This is the principle. Nothing in the world is difficult for those who put their minds to it. Think about it, and there is nothing that can't be solved. Zhang Zhulu was deeply shocked. He had always thought that he was a genius, one of the few smart people in the world. He was praised by everyone as one of the 4 prodigies of watching. He was young, strong, and, compared to his father, he was more ruthless. Father is old. This was not the first time he had thought this. Now he finally understood how deep and powerful his father was. The difference between him and his father was like the difference between heaven and earth. My prediction was right. The Lu family couldn't help but make a move on Lu Chaoga. They held Wang Li hostage and wanted to force Lu Chaoga to transfer her shares and the Rubik's Cube technology to them. Zhang Zhulu was shocked and asked, when did this happen? Just now. Qiang Long Tan said, I got the news on my way here. And the result? Zhang Zhulu asked. We really met a rare opponent. Qiang Long Tan smiled bitterly. This round was solved by Lu Chaoga, or Fang Yin, who was by Lu Chaoga's side. Solved? I just got the news that Lu Shu accidentally fell from a building and is now hospitalized with serious injuries. We don't know if he's dead or alive. Qiang Long Tan said. We don't know if he's dead or alive. Lu Shu's face became very serious. Fang Yin made a move on them. He dared to beat Lu Shu to the point where we don't know if he's dead or alive. Is he crazy? He's not crazy, Qiang Long Tan said. He calculated that the Lu family wouldn't dare to make this matter public. That's why he dared to be so heavy-handed. The Lu family's reaction was just as he guessed. They explained to the outside world that Lu Shu accidentally fell from a building. How did he fall? They didn't say a word about who made him fall. It seems that their deal failed. Zhang Zhulu sneered. The Lu family is really funny. They planned for so many years and spent so much time and energy. What did they get in the end? Not only did they not get anything, but they also lost Lu Shu. I hope that Lu Shu can't be saved. If that's the case, will that old fox Lu Yingyan let it go? No, the deal was successful. Qiang Long Tan corrected Zhang Zhulu's point of view and said, although I don't know the specific conditions for now, but according to the report from the ants I left in the Lu family, they did get the transfer contract signed by Lu Chaoga. This is what I'm really worried about. Lu Shu was injured, but the deal was successful? Zhang Zhulu couldn't understand it all. Lu Chaoga and that Fang Yin. What do they want to do? Yes, Lu Shu's life and death are unknown. None of his bodyguards were spared. But they signed a contract with Lu Shu. Is it just for money? I don't think it's that simple. What do they want to do? Zhang Zhulu asked. He felt dizzy from his father's train of thought. No, he was completely confused by this matter. Although I was forced by them, if I didn't want them to kill each other, I wouldn't have given away the shares of Longtu Group so easily. Although we control Longtu's core assets, Long Tu itself is still a powerful existence. Just as Bran alone is worth a lot. If it's not necessary, we definitely won't give up this beautiful shell. Think about it. If the Liu family used a very high price to get the transfer contract from Liu Chaoga, then would they be willing to give it up so easily? No. Jiang Julio's thoughts instantly became clear. He exclaimed, in other words, the current Longta group actually belongs to the joint ownership of the Jiang family and the Liu family? That be asterisk TCH Liu Chaoga didn't want to play anymore and quit? Yes, she quit. She took a huge sum of money and the real Rubik's Cube technology and left. King Longtan's face showed deep worry. We and the Liu family will reveal our true intentions on the battlefield of Longta Group. We will fight in close quarters for the core assets and business of Longtu. If that part of the shares is in Liu Chaoga's hands, no matter what we do in secret, even if she knows, she can't do anything. But if our opponent is the Liu family, do you really think that the things we transferred earlier are foolproof? That be asterisk TCH. Jiang Zhulu gritted his teeth and cursed. What a deep scheme. She used the conflict between the Jiang family and the Liu family to play all of us in the palm of her hand. Driving the tiger to swallow the wolf, King Long Tan said with a sigh. Driving the tiger to swallow the wolf, what a good move. Zhulu, you're not as good as them. Now Liu Chaoga has set up a trap and is waiting for the Jiang and Liu families to solve it. Chapter 189. Since ancient times, there's been a saying, medicine and martial arts are inseparable. Fang Yin is a first-rate martial arts master and a third-rate doctor. Who wouldn't be stabbed in the martial arts world? Giving yourself some emergency treatment after being stabbed is the key to saving your life. If you have to crawl to find a doctor after being seriously injured, you won't be able to survive even if you have 9 lives. Even those who sold dogskin plasters in the market shouted that after you hit me, 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 you stick on the plaster. After 3 to 5 minutes, the scars would disappear. A plaster was only 10 yuan. Buy 3 get 1 free. The price was reasonable, and there was even free shipping included. Because Wang Li was seriously injured, not only her skin was burned, but even her internal organs were also severely weakened due to the invasion of the fire. For so many years, she relied on the expensive medicine provided by the Liu family to maintain her life. Wang Li's body was weak, plus she was seriously injured and lost a lot of blood. After seeing Fang Yin throw Liu Shu downstairs, she directly fainted. Fang Yin took the whole medicine pot from a kitchen, put the medicine into a bowl to cool, then spread out a piece of sterilized gauze, poured the hot medicine dregs into the emery cloth, put the medicine pot in place, and carefully wrapped the gauze. Fang Yin personally used a pair of scissors to cut open Wang Li's pants, revealing her charred, pitch-black skin that was too horrible to look at. There were also several fresh wounds, which were just cut by Liu Shu's subordinate, Butcher. Liu Chaoga's eyes were red, clenched her fists, and didn't say a word. Fang Yin wrapped the gauze with the medicine dregs around the wound on Wang Li's leg. Wang Li's body suddenly twitched, and the upper half of her body bounced up from the bed. Because of the pain in her legs, she also woke up from her unconscious state. Fang Yin firmly pressed her legs, not letting her lower body move, until Wang Li was able to adapt to the heat and stimulation of the medicine dregs, and when she gradually calmed down, he wrapped her whole long leg again. After tying up one leg, Fang Yin proceeded to tie up her other leg. During this process, Wang Li has been watching Fang Yin's every move with her eyes wide open. He did not speak, nor did he resist. Fang Yin finished the exercise on his legs and turned around to pick up the bowl of warm medicinal soup. He held Wang Li's back with one hand and placed the soup in her hand. He smiled and said, "Drink it." Wang Li took the bowl of medicine and drank the black liquid in one gulp. Fang Yin took the bowl and said with a smile, "Your body is very weak. You need to drink Chinese medicine for at least half a month to recuperate. As for the dregs on your leg, just change them once every 3 days. You don't have to change them too often. Don't worry, they'll get better." Wang Li still did not speak. She only stared unblinkingly at Fang Yin with her murky red eyes. I understand, Wang Li suddenly said. What do you understand? Fang Yin asked with a smile. Acting, Wang Li said. You too are acting. We're not acting. Fang Yin shook his head. Wang Li did not believe Fang Yin's words. She turned around to ask Lu Chaoga. We're not acting. Lu Chaoga said, before he came, I didn't tell him that you were still alive. Wang Li's eyes flashed. You didn't know about my existence before? I didn't know. You didn't know about my cooperation with the Lu family? I didn't know at all, Fang Yin answered with absolute certainty. Wang Li wanted to say something, but stopped. She did not ask this question in the end. You want to ask if I'm angry, right? Fang Yin took the initiative to ask the question in Wang Li's heart. Yes, Wang Li said. I know you. I know you're close to Lu Chaoga. I also know you've helped her a lot. She hid my existence from you and hid my cooperation with the Lu family. I think you must be very angry, right? Of course I'm angry, Fang Yin said very frankly. To tell you the truth, the moment I entered the study and saw you and Lu Shu, I felt like my heart was stabbed by a knife. I felt that I was betrayed by Lu Chaoga. I helped her with all my heart, helped her find the enemy who killed her father, helped her get back her property, helped her protect her. But she still hid such important information from me. What did she think I was? A handsome bodyguard? A cold-blooded thug who automatically appears when there's danger? Later, I thought that everyone has their own secrets that they don't want to tell others. She didn't tell me about your existence, which means she hasn't regarded me as her closest friend. She doesn't trust me as much as I trust her. Or maybe she has her own difficulties. We always hope that the interaction between people is equal. I give my sincerity, and you return my sincerity. I give my feelings, and you return my feelings. I give everything, and you do everything for me. This is unreal in life, and it's very difficult to do. You love her, and she loves you. This is a match made in heaven. Most of the time, you love her, and she loves him, but he doesn't love her. I feel hurt and cheated because I put her in a very important position. She doesn't trust me, and she hides things from me, which only proves that I'm not that important to her. This is a test. She didn't wholeheartedly, and I performed perfectly unilaterally. Fang Yin said with a smile. What she did to me, I will do to her. So, from now on, we're just ordinary friends. If we redefine our relationship in this way, my heart will feel much better, and those secrets and betrayals will have no meaning, because no one will expose all their secrets to an ordinary friend. Not to mention this kind of privacy that concerns the lives of oneself and those close to you. Fang Yin looked at Lu Chaoga and said, I understand everything you did, but from my personal standpoint, I can't accept it. Lu Chaoga's lips moved slightly, but she only let out a soft sigh. She didn't explain. They were both smart people, and they always had a tacit understanding. She didn't even say hello. After he came, he took a look and then played the show with her. She understood what he was thinking, and he also understood what kind of person he was. Seeing Lu Chaoga's sad and guilty expression, Wang Li, who knew her very well, said softly, Before, Lu Chaoga didn't know that I was alive because I didn't dare to contact her. I knew that she was closely monitored. If I rashly contacted her, both of us would be in danger. It's not easy for everyone to live. It's not easy for me, and it's even more difficult for Lu Chaoga, who lives in the Jiang family. Have you ever thought that Lu Chaoga didn't tell you about my existence and didn't confess to you the secret of my cooperation with the Lu family was actually just because she didn't want you to have a bad impression of her? Fang Yin looked at Lu Chaoga in surprise, but Lu Chaoga slightly turned her face and refused to look at Fang Yin's eyes. Lu Chaoga didn't approve of my cooperation with the Lu family. After she knew the truth, she kept persuading me. I think you know her about this, Wang Li said. To be honest, you two cooperated so well that even I was deceived at that time. I even blamed Lu Chaoga for transferring such a huge sum of money to your account, because I never thought that you were a trustworthy person. We two poor women depended on each other for survival. If we were not careful, we would be swallowed by those schemers. They're capable of anything. The accident of Lu Chaoga's parents and my face are the best examples. Until just now, I was still wondering why Lu Chaoga told all our secrets to you. If we were not careful, we would die without a burial place. Because if she didn't tell you about my existence and my cooperation with the Lu family, how could you have such a wonderful cooperation? Wang Li's lips were chapped, and because she talked too much, her face became more embarrassed. Lu Chaoga went to pour a glass of water for her and said, "Have a rest." Wang Li drank the water, but refused to lie down immediately. She looked at Fang Yin and said, "You are right. Everyone wants the same value in return for their efforts. This time, it was Lu Chaoga who felt guilty about you, and it was I who felt guilty about you. We were not as frank as you, and we were too insidious and suspicious. To be honest, until now, I dare not trust you like Lu Chaoga. However, Lu Chaoga has already given you the greatest amount of trust she can give you. She asked the Lu family to transfer the money to your account, asking you to protect her, and also because she has complete trust in you, because that is the money to save my life, and it is all we have now. She entrusted her everything to you. Isn't that also a kind of trust?" Fang Yin was silent and said, "What you said makes me feel more pressure because I have decided to treat her as a normal friend." "Then let's just be friends," Lu Xiaoga said. "Aren't you afraid that I will refuse to transfer the money?" Fang Yin asked, "If you didn't help, that money and our lives might have been gone." Lu Xiaoga said without any worry, "It is only a matter of time. For the situation at that time, I made the best choice. As for the future, do I have the right to think about the future?" "Fang Yin, you are a variable." Wang Li said, "Whether it is the Jiang family, the Lu family, or me, we have never thought that because of your appearance, things will be pushed to the situation that is most beneficial to us. So what if the Lu family took the contract? The day they join the Dragon Group will be the day they sink into the mire." Wang Li became more and more emotional, and her voice was dry and hoarse as she said, "When two tigers fight, one will be hurt." "Fang Yin, thank you. Thank you for avenging us." Wang Li fell asleep. When the two came out, Lu Chaoga gently closed the door. "No matter what, I owe you an apology." Lu Chaoga said, "I will not say it is okay." Fang Yin said, Chapter 190. "What?" Fang Yin jumped up from his chair in surprise. This news was too shocking. It was so shocking that even a calm man like him could not remain calm. "I just found out about this secret from my aunt," Lu Chaoga said calmly. She was always so cold and emotionless, as if she didn't care much about anything. This was the personality that was formed by his life as a spy in the Jiang family, and it would not change in a short period of time. He might never be able to change it. I was also surprised to hear about this. I tried my best to find out the truth of that incident. Everyone I met told me that the Rubik's Cube research had reached a bottleneck and was temporarily put on hold. I didn't expect it to be solved. My dad passed all the information and technology to my aunt. She has always kept this secret. If the Jiang and Lu families knew about this, what would they think?" Fang Yin asked maliciously. "That's their business," Lu Chaoga said. "I think they must be very unhappy. What are you going to do? You should know that if there is really no problem with the technology, it will bring about a revolution in this world. The benefits are too big." "I know," Lu Chaoga said. "This is the reason why I gave up on Longta Group. I want to build it with my own hands and use the 1 billion as the startup capital." "You want to start your own energy company?" Fang Yin asked in surprise. "It's us." "Us?" Fang Yin looked at Lu Chaoga in confusion, then suddenly understood and said, "You want me to join you? You don't have to join me, but I want to give you what you deserve. Because of guilt, to repay a favor." Fang Yin was silent. "I am not a person who takes advantage of the situation. It is not easy for you two women to live now, but you will accept it. Is that right?" Lu Xiaoga said, "Because you won't miss any opportunity to change the world. In this world, there's only 1.5 people I can trust." Lu Chaoga said, "One is Auntie, the other half is you." "I'm sorry, we haven't known each other for long." I know you've helped me a lot, and I know you've saved my life. And not just once. This is because I'm too sensitive and paranoid. It has nothing to do with your character. That's because there's a problem with your character. I don't deny it. Lu Chaoga nodded. I'll try to change, but I might not be able to. I'll try my best. You just acquired Rosefinch Secondary, and now you're going to start an energy company. Can you handle it? Everything is difficult at the beginning. The energy company has just been established, so it will take a lot of time. So, I will give up my position with Rosefinch. I don't think I'm qualified enough to take over your position. If there are some jobs that I can't do well, I hope you won't mind. Fang Yin said sincerely. Lu Chaoga looked at Fang Yin deeply and said, I will appoint you as the leader of the language team for the first years and nominate you as the school's director. I'm not going to be the principal. The principal is Zhang Xiaofeng. He's quite capable, but he's too tactful. I'll have a good talk with him when I leave. He will fully support your new teaching practice. Fang Yin nodded and said, It seems that you've considered everything. There's nothing I'm not satisfied with. I'll just be the language teacher of Class 9. You know better than anyone that my personality is not suitable to be an official. This is not what I'm after. No problem. Lu Chaoga accepted Fang Yan's proposal. The two of us are still too weak in the company. We need to bring in a partner with a strong background. At least, we don't have to worry about the company being crushed by the Jiang and Lu families when it's still young and weak. You have to know that in this world, it's not just talent and technology that can lead to success. Lu Chaoga nodded and said, I have a candidate to recommend. In the vice principal's office, Lu Chaoga and Qin Yitian sat opposite each other. After Qin Yitian finished reading the information in his hand, he casually threw it on the coffee table and asked, Where's Fang Yin? He's going to class. Lu Chaoga said, I think it's better for the two of us to talk alone. Why me? Qin Yitian asked. I think you're the most suitable candidate. Qin Yitian smiled and said, Principal Lu trusts me very much. So what's your opinion? Lu Chaoga asked. I have to say that the Rubik's Cube technology has a very promising market. If this technology is really as amazing as what's written in the information, you can make money with your eyes closed. If our family gets this kind of Rubik's Cube, it's absolutely impossible to cooperate with others. Of course, you choose to cooperate with us. Certainly not because you want us to share the cost or let us make money together. Are you worried that someone will take advantage of it? Or someone has already done so? You just need a guarantee? You're very smart. Lu Chaoga didn't deny it. This is very fair. I have no reason to refuse. Qin Yitian said. She stood up and walked to Lu Chaoga's desk. She took a pencil from the pen holder and then wrote a row of beautiful numbers on the white paper on the desk. Call this number. Someone wants to see you. She threw the pencil on the desk and said, I'm going to class. I actually don't want to skip Mr. Fang's class. After that, she opened the office door and walked out. Lu Chaoga looked at her elegant and agile figure, and her eyes showed a little envy. Beautiful, smart, and with a powerful background, such a girl, how blessed by God. Duh, duh, duh. With every step the man took, the wooden clogs would knock on the smooth marble floor of the airport, making a clear and pleasant sound. He wore a long leather shawl, a white Taoist robe, and wooden clogs. This unique style of dress let people know at a glance that he came from Japan. Cold, thin, like a flaming bird in the desert, bathing in the scorching sun, a sand-eating eagle. It was obvious that it was extraordinary. It was easy to overlook his looks because his temperament was too outstanding. Behind the man, there were two beautiful children. The girl was gentle and lively, with a very amiable smile on her face. The boy and the girl were diametrically opposite, with a serious expression, as if they had a grudge against everyone. Behind them, there were several strange people following. Those who didn't know better would think that they were some art performance group from Japan. Everyone they met would point at them, and some people want to take out their mobile phones to take pictures. However, when they adjusted the angle of their mobile phones, they found that the clicking sound was very far away from them. This made them puzzled. They didn't notice that they were walking very fast. Why couldn't they catch up? However, no one wanted to turn around and chase after them. because they always felt that there was something blocking their footsteps and their determination. They're here again. Chiba Kaori stood outside the airport gate and said with a smile, "I didn't expect it to be so fast." Chiba Haomu snorted, very dissatisfied with Chiba Kaori's behavior. Chiba Kaori smiled and reached out to touch her brother's hair, but Chiba Haomu dodged her. "I know you didn't want to come, but since father made this decision, then he must be doing it for your own good. Don't you think so?" After a pause, the girl said happily, "Besides, I like Huaxia very much. This is a very mysterious country. Before coming here, I never thought that I would meet so many outstanding people. Qini Tian, how could there be such an outstanding girl? As a girl myself, I was also impressed by her aura. This is a hypocritical country. Every single one of them was very hypocritical. They are full of hostility toward us." Chiba Haomu finally couldn't help but lose his temper. "I really don't understand. Why do we come back? Is it just to witness my humiliation again?" Thud! The sound of wooden clogs suddenly stopped. The sun was shining brightly in the sky. He raised his head and let the sunlight shine on his face. He squinted his eyes and gave off a lazy and comfortable feeling. What was even stranger was that his pale face seemed to be strangely transparent. Even the tiny blood vessels could be seen clearly. "No matter where you go, you must love the land beneath your feet," the man said softly, but his words were heard by everyone behind him. "Our strength comes from the sun, from the land, and from ourselves. You repel the sun, and the sun repel you. You don't love the land, and the land doesn't love you. How can you defeat the enemies who have the right time, place, and people to rely on yourself? How can you defeat the enemies who are supported by the sun and the land? If your heart is warm and peaceful, then every swing of your sword will also be warm and peaceful. You love everything around you. Every time you swing your sword, the wind will help you, the rain will help you, the sun and the leaves will help you. A true swordsman needs to become one with the sword. And when you become one with the sword, you also need to become one with nature. That way, you will have an aura, and the sword you swing will have an aura. What is the way of the sword? Everything is the way, and the way includes everything." The man turned to look at Chiba Haomu, then at his son, and said, "The sun and rain, the land, and everyone you meet are all the way of the sword." Chiba Haomu was the inheritor and promoter of the One Blade of the North Star. He was the #1 swordsman in Japan, known as the Light of the North Star. Chapter 191. Lu Chaoga went to Yinjing and went to Rosefinch's principal, Zhang Xiaofeng's office. "Are you really leaving?" Zhang Xiaofeng looked at Lu Xiaoga, who was sitting across from him, and asked in a very emotional voice. "I'm really leaving," Lu Xiaoga replied. "What a pity," Zhang Xiaofeng said. "You have the ideas and the ability. You've returned with honor and pride. However, you still don't understand the situation in Huaxia. There are some things that you know are right, and I also know are right. However, it doesn't mean that this can be done. What everyone thinks is right may not be carried out. Only when everyone thinks it's right will there be a chance. It's a right word and a good word. At first glance, there's really no difference. However, if you think about it carefully, you'll realize that there's a lot more to it. You have ideals and ambition, so you choose to do the right thing. I'm the principal, I'm old, my ideals are gone, and I have to consider the big picture, so I choose to do the right thing. Therefore, during your time at Rosefinch, I didn't give you much support. They would even pour a bucket of cold water on you from time to time, try to wake you up and let you know whose territory this is. You see, us old men can't get rid of the landlord's consciousness of occupying a mountain and making ourselves the king." "Principal Zhang, you're exaggerating," Lu Chaoga comforted. "Principal Zhang is a good teacher and helpful friend. I've benefited a lot. To be honest, when I heard that you accepted Rosefinch, I was ready to retire. When you walked into my office just now, I was still thinking, little Lu is here to have showdown with me. I've already prepared to leave, but I didn't expect that the one leaving is you. Where are you going?" Zhang Xiaofeng smiled helplessly. "I like students, and I like education." Lu Chaoga said, I want to change too many things, and my ability is limited, so I hope that my students can stand on the same side as me in the future. However, I have more important things to do now. So, I'll have to trouble Principal Zhang in the future. Zhang Xiaofeng waved his hand and said, What trouble? It's my job. I just want to know what Principal Lu thinks of Rosefinch. What path do you want Rosefinch to take in the future? Teacher Fong Yin will talk to Principal Zhang about this, Lu Chaoga said. Mr. Fong Yin is still the homeroom teacher of Class 9. He also represents me as the school's director. Oh, Zhang Xiaofeng nodded. He thought to himself, the rumors are true. These two people really have something going on. Fong Yin was really good at management. He had only been in Rosefinch for less than half a year, but he had already become the true controller behind Rosefinch. However, what was the attitude of the Qin clan's young lady? At such a young age, he was already giving off such great pressure. He was not someone who was easy to deal with. Although Mr. Fong Yin is young, and his personality is a bit flamboyant, his understanding of education and love for students are the model teachers. I think if he has Principal Zhang's support and protection, he will definitely be able to achieve extraordinary results. Because of Fong Yin and Fong Yin, our Rosefinch will never lose its reputation as a famous school, Lu Chaoga said. I understand. Zhang Xiaofeng agreed straightforwardly, since he was paid to do things for others. Since Lu Chaoga, the big boss, wanted him to cooperate with her little lover, Fong Yin, to promote the teaching reform, then he would follow suit. Anyway, the person who was really doing the work was Fong Yin himself. Moreover, Zhang Xiaofeng had a certain understanding of Fong Yin. Although the bet between him and Mr. Zhang Yu was a bit childish, he had used actual results to prove to the whole of Rosefinch that he, Fong Yin, was fully deserving of being a famous teacher in Rosefinch. Mr. Fong Yin is a very young and outstanding teacher. I am happy to protect such a young person. I believe that our cooperation will be very pleasant, Zhang Xiaofeng said. Thank you, Principal Zhang, Lu Chaoga said. Haha, what's so hard about it? The ones who are really working hard are Fong Yin and the other young teachers who are really working on the front lines. Lu Chaoga stood up and said goodbye. Before she left, she couldn't help but remind him, if Mr. Fong Yin really does something that Principal Zhang can't accept, you can call me, because I know he's not easy to convince. Definitely. Zhang Xiaofeng stood up to send her off. He thought that Lu Chaoga really cared for her little boyfriend from the bottom of her heart. This was true love. The wind is bleak and the water is cold. Once a hero leaves, he will not return. Jing Ke knew that he would die, so why did he still go to assassinate the king of Qin? Fong Yin stood on the podium and asked with a smile. Because Jing Ke is a hero. He doesn't want Qin to invade Yin. Because he wants to repay Prince Dan's kindness. In ancient times, people cared about friendship the most. Crown Prince Dan spent 1,000 gold to buy a horse's bones. He told the world that he treats Jing Ke as a scholar of the nation. If Jing Ke didn't go, he would be laughed at by the world. Everyone forced him to go, so he had no choice but to go. The students all had their own ideas and were very enthusiastic in answering the questions. Lively, arguing, thinking. This was the characteristic of Fong Yan's class. As long as he was there would be no awkward silence. As long as it was his language class, all the students would put in 120% of their effort to understand the local customs and the story behind the events in the text. Fong Yin rarely interrupted their train of thought. He liked to see them understand the deeper meaning of the text in the process of arguing. In fact, being an outstanding teacher was really not a particularly difficult thing. Before Fong Yin could comment on the student's point of view, Dean Li Mingxiang was already standing at the door of Fong Yan's classroom. Fong Yin let the students continue to argue. He walked out of the classroom and asked Li Mingxiang, Dean Li, are you looking for me? Haha, Mr. Fong, are you busy? I can hear the students' voices in the classroom from afar. In my opinion, Mr. Fong's class is the most lively class in the whole of Rosefinch. Li Mingxiang said flatteringly. Ever since he changed schools and joined Lu Chaoga, he and Fong Yin had become grasshoppers in the same boat. This was Li Mingxiang's real thought at the beginning. He used to be Zhang Tiancheng's man, the school director, and lived a comfortable life. Later, his son was immature and fell out with Director Zhang's son. What was worse, Liang also handed over the evidence of Zheng Guodong's crimes to Fang Yin. Li Mingqiang knew that he was about to face a disaster, so he hurriedly ran to hug Lu Chaoga's thigh. At that time, he just held the attitude of treating a dead horse as a living one, thinking that he could avoid it as long as possible. He did not expect that things would take a 180-degree turn. Director Zhang Tiancheng did not retaliate against him and almost completely treated him as an invisible person, and his position in the school was still as stable as Mount Tai. What surprised and excited him the most was that his new thigh bought the shares of Rosefinch from his former thigh. He became a direct descendant of the royalists again. He felt that he must have done a lot of good things in his previous life. If it was not the Black Cat Sheriff, then it was Ultraman. Otherwise, why would God be so kind to him? With this thought, he respected Lu Chaoga even more. Because Lu Chaoga was too cold and always gave people the feeling that she was 1,000 miles away, he targeted Lu Chaoga's cohabiting partner, Fang Yin. Yes, he saw with his own eyes that Fang Yin and Lu Chaoga lived together. As for Fang Yingying and Fang Haohan, who lived in that small courtyard at the same time, he automatically ignored them. If I didn't know it was the truth, I would really think that Director Li was complimenting me, Fang Yin said with a smile. Li Mingqiang laughed as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. He pointed at Fang Yin and said, your mouth is really unforgiving. It's like this, I just passed by the principal, and he asked me to give you a student. As he spoke, he turned around and waved at the girl behind him, saying, Mr. Fang should be familiar with this student, right? Chiba Kaori? Fang Yin looked at the beautiful girl standing behind Li Mingqiang in surprise and said, why is she back? Our school and Warren High School have a student exchange program every year. Originally, we exchanged students in July, but Warren High School proposed to send another outstanding student to study in Rosefinch. This is the pride of our Rosefinch, Li Mingqiang said with a proud face. Chiba Kaori is one of the most outstanding students in Warren, as she came to Rosefinch on behalf of Warren High School. I remember that the last inspection group was received by your Class 9. Mr. Fang should have some impression of Chiba Kaori, right? She left a deep impression, Fang Yin said. Really? That's great. Li Mingqiang looked at Fang Yin with a strange expression. According to the agreement between the two schools, Chiba Kaori was supposed to study in the first class, but she took the initiative to ask to study in the 9th class that Mr. Fang is in. From this, it can be seen that during the last reception, Mr. Fang Yin had already attracted and conquered Chiba Kaori with his profound knowledge and handsome appearance. That's why she came all the way to Rosefinch to learn from Mr. Fang Yin. Mr. Hua Xia and the Japanese girl, this is a wonderful story. Fang Yin was speechless. Why did Mr. Hua Xia and the Japanese girl sound like some hot-blooded and exciting short movies with mosaics on the important parts? Chapter 192. After Li Mingqiang left, Fang Yin stood on the podium. He tapped the table with an eraser. After the students in Class 9 quieted down, Fang Yin smiled and said, Let me introduce a new student to you. Chiba Kaori from Warren Senior High School. Seeing Fang Yin's gesture of invitation, Chiba Kaori walked in from outside the classroom. Since she had just officially enrolled today, she had yet to receive her Rosefinch uniform. She was still wearing the casual clothes that she had brought with her. She was wearing a light gray long skirt, a white, long-sleeved shirt, and a beige knitted coat. She wore blue canvas shoes, and the sleeves of her shirt were rolled up to her arms. Overall, she gave off a fresh and sweet vibe. With a gentle smile, she stood under the podium and bowed in front of the students. This was a common East Asian etiquette. I think everyone is familiar with Chiba Kaori, right? A while ago, she came to Rosefinch with the delegation from Warren Senior High School. The exquisite tea ceremony she displayed during the tea duel with Qin Yitian was amazing. In the end, she took the initiative to admit defeat to Qin Yitian, which showed us that she's an honest and open-minded girl. Fong Yin pretended to glance at Chiba Kaori casually and said, "Just now, Director Lee mentioned that Chiba Kaori was supposed to study in Class 1. But because I'm in Class 9, she specially applied to the school, hoping that she could study in Class 9. To be honest, I feel honored, but I'm also a little scared. Why did Chiba Kaori choose my class? I'm sure it's not just because I'm handsome. More importantly, she thinks I'm a good teacher. She hopes to learn enough from me and understand the essence of Huaxia culture. The sea of books is endless, and learning is endless. I'm excellent, but I'm not the best. I know a lot, but there's still a lot I don't know. So, from today onward, I'm a teacher and a student. I want to learn and grow with you. I want you to have no regrets about your choices. I want you to be proud to have a teacher like me." Fong Yin applauded first and said, "Let's welcome Chiba Kaori with a warm round of applause." Pa pa pa. The applause was resounding. For the sake of welcoming Chiba Kaoru, and also for Fong Yan's touching confession, Fong Yin gestured for Chiba Kaori to stand on the podium and said in English, "Chiba Kaori, do you have anything to say to your classmates?" Fong Yin had been speaking in Huaxia language earlier, so Chiba Sun couldn't understand him. Now that Fong Yin was speaking in English, it was easy for her to understand. Her foundation in English was pretty good. She nodded and bowed to the students below the stage again. She looked gentle and cute as she said with a smile, "I'm Chiba Kaori. Nice to meet you all." Hualala. The students applauded again. "Chiba Kaori, we're honored to meet you as well. Chiba Kaori, you're so beautiful. Chiba Kaori, let me teach you the Huaxia language." My Huaxia language has passed the 8th level. Chiba Kaori smiled sweetly and let her classmates joke around with her. She couldn't understand them anyway. When the classroom quieted down again, Chiba Kaori looked at Chini Tian, who was sitting in the last row of the classroom, and said with a smile, "The reason why I came to Huaxia and Rosefinch again is because I lost to Qin Yiqian in the tea contest. He's an expert in the tea ceremony that I lost to. During my days in Japan, I've been thinking about this question. How can there be such a girl in this world? I thought, I must come here. I want to be her opponent, but I also want to be her friend." She looked at Qin Tian with a burning gaze and said, "Qin Tian, I'm here. I'm here for you." Silence. The classroom was dead silent. Everyone's eyes were on Fong Yin, but Fong Yin didn't know where to look. A slap in the face. This girl was slapping him in the face. Fong Yin just said in front of the whole class that Chiba Kaori was here for him, and that he would study hard and make progress every day so that Chiba Kaori wouldn't be disappointed in him. Yet in the blink of an eye, Chiba Kaori said that she was here for Qin Yiqian, to be her opponent and to be her friend. Have you ever thought about Mr. Fong's feelings? Chiba Kaori looked at Fong Yin blankly, and then looked at the students sitting below the stage. Shouldn't there be applause? Uffed. Someone couldn't hold it in and burst out laughing. Then, the whole class roared with laughter. "What are you laughing at?" Fong Yin flew into a rage and shouted, "We're in class. Be serious, everyone." Everyone laughed, even more happily after Fong Yin's outburst. Fong Yin couldn't help but laugh as well. He said, "Chiba Kaori doesn't understand Huaxia language, so it'll be hard for her to study in the future. Which student is willing to—" Before Fong Yin could finish, a student shouted, "I'm willing." Me too, Chiba Kaori, let's sit together." Seeing the boy's enthusiastic response, Fong Yin sneered and said, "Chiba Kaori, you sit with Qin Yiqian. Ho Xiaolong, you sit with Wang Dong." Just now, those boys were the most unbridled laughing. Now, Fong Yin wouldn't let them get what they wanted. Chiba Kaori laughed, while Qin Yiqian's desk mate, Ho Xiaolong, cried. Tianyi Hotel. When Fong Yin rushed over, the private room was already full of people. Zhang Xiaofeng waved his hand and said with a smile, "Mr. Fong Yin, we've been waiting for you." Fong Yin apologized profusely and said, "I'm sorry to have made all the leaders wait." Fong Yin was right. All the people present were the leaders of Rosefinch High School. The school president, Lu Chaoga, the principal, Zhang Xiaofeng, a few vice principals, and the dean of academic affairs, Li Mingqiang. This means that Mr. Fong Yin is working hard and didn't skip work early, right? Li Mingqiang took advantage of his closer relationship with Fang Yin, so he stood up and led Fang Yin to sit on his left. Sitting on his right was the Dean of Academic Affairs, Zhu Jian. He knew that Zhu Jian and Fang Yin were close, so he called Zhu Jian over. Fang Yin greeted Zhu Jian and said with a smile, "I'm late. I'll pour wine for all of you as an apology later." "Mr. Fang Yin, that's not right. Our main target tonight is Chairman Liu. Don't make a mistake and attack the wrong person," Zhang Xiaofeng said with a serious face. "That's right. Chairman Liu is going out to do big things, and you have to stay and continue to serve our Rosefinch. Our relationship will be closer." The only female vice principal, Huang Mi, winked at Fang Yin. A woman in her 40s was also charming. "Then let's assign tasks. Mr. Fang Yin is the youngest in the room, so he should be the best drinker. Tonight, he will accompany Chairman Liu to drink. What do you think?" Zhang Xiaofeng said. "If Chairman Liu doesn't drink well, then it's Mr. Fang Yan's dereliction of duty." Everyone agreed. Obviously, they had heard of the scandal between Fang Yin and Liu Xiaoge and were still trying to prove it. Fang Yin and Liu Xiaoge looked into each other's eyes. Before the others noticed, they quickly looked away. Today's dinner was to send Liu Xiaoge off, but the scene was unusually lively, as if they were welcoming Liu Xiaoge to take up her duties. It couldn't be helped. Who asked Liu Xiaoge to buy Zhang Tiancheng's shares and become the biggest shareholder of Rosefinch? After the dinner, under everyone's strange gaze, the youngest teacher, Fang Yin, naturally sent Liu Xiaoge back. Because her subordinates were too enthusiastic, Liu Xiaoge drank quite a bit tonight. Her cheeks were slightly red, and she looked more approachable than usual. Fang Yin and Liu Xiaoge both drank, so they couldn't drive. They walked side by side to school. Fang Yin returned to the courtyard that Liu Xiaoge lent him, and Liu Xiaoge returned to her own courtyard. The bright moon hung in the sky, and a night breeze blew gently. The familiar tree-lined path, the bank of the Sparrow River that emitted the fragrance of seaweed, the student couples sneakily dating, and the artsy boys playing the guitar and singing on the grass on the Sparrow Bridge. It was a relaxing and cozy night. Liu Xiaoge pointed to a dark corner not far from the basketball court and said, "That night, Jiang Zhulu sent me to the school gate. I thought that he was following me, so I created the illusion that we were close. I wanted him to misunderstand, to make him jealous, and to let him know that not everything is absolute. I'm not the woman he set his eyes on, and I'm not the Jiang family's puppet." Fang Yin looked at Liu Xiaoge with a puzzled expression and said, "You're talking about this now? What are you trying to do?" Liu Xiaoge let out a faint smile and said, "Explain." "I want you to understand even more clearly what a scheming woman I am. And if you see it clearly," Fang Yin asked, "So what? After you see it clearly, you'll cooperate with me and get along with me with your guard up, just like you are now. You're still trying to lie to me?" Fang Yin widened his eyes and asked with a vigilant expression. Liu Xiaoge shook her head. "I just want you to be on your guard at all times, against me, and against other women like me. You're a good person, and good people should be rewarded." Fang Yin hated being praised as a good person the most. The new company's office space has already been selected. We've acquired a small energy company, and we're going to expand on its original foundation. This will save a lot of preparation time. I'll hold 55% of the new company's shares, and my partner will hold 30%. The other 15% will be transferred to your name. This is a joint decision between me and my partner, and I hope you won't decline. Chaoyan Energy Technology Company. Liu Xiaoge looked at Fang Yin and said, "I hope you like this name. It's okay if you don't like it, since it's already registered anyway." Chapter 193. The irises outside the window were in full bloom. The purple-blue petals were like beautiful butterflies. The wind blew, the petals rose and fell, and the butterflies spread their wings. This was a row of luxurious villas, which was also the Liu family's private sanatorium. The door of the sanatorium opened, and a black Bentley slowly drove in. A group of people stood at the door of the villa, waiting. The man in the lead had thick eyebrows, big eyes, a wide mouth, thick lips, and a square face. His hair was combed back like an artist's, and he looked very dignified. He was the head of the Liu family, Liu Yingyan. People called him the Butcher of Shanghai. The Liu family was an old aristocratic family in Huaqing. They had deep connections in many industries. They were one of the richest families in Huaqing. The Liu family had produced outstanding people. Generations of Liu family members worked hard, which was why they had their current prestige. The Bentley had just stopped at the door of the villa. Liu Yingyan's brother, Liu Qingtian, had already stepped forward and helped Liu Yingyan open the back seat of the Bentley. Liu Yingyan glanced at his brother, Liu Qingtian, and nodded slightly without saying anything. In the back seat of the Bentley sat an unremarkable man. He got out of the car and said with a smile, "I'm here to see Liu Shu." "Uncle Liu, you're treating me like an outsider by making such a big scene." Liu Yingyan reached out and shook the man's hand. He said with a smile, "Usually, I can't even wait for you to come. Now that I'm here, I have to treat you to a meal and a cup of tea. Since Uncle Liu says so, I'll stay in Huaqing and not leave," the man said with a smile. "That's great. I'll host banquets every day. We won't go home until we're drunk," Liu Yingyan said heroically. Jiang Junling nodded with a smile and asked, "Is Liu Shu okay?" "Yes," Liu Yingyan said with a smile, but his eyes were filled with murderous intent. "He won't die. I'll go in and see," Jiang Junling said. In a spacious and luxurious room, the General Ling saw the willow tree that was rumored to be dead or dead. Liu Shu's entire head was wrapped in gauze. Only his eyes, mouth, and nose had small holes. His upper body was bare, and his sturdy chest muscles were also full of scars and were covered in white gauze of various sizes. There were also a few places with serious injuries that were wrapped in large pieces of gauze. From the outside, one could still see the reddish-brown blood that had already seeped out. What was even more shocking was that his hands and feet were all wrapped in a special steel instrument. The instrument was lit with a yellow light, emitting a warm halo. It gave people the feeling of an incomplete Iron Man hearing the sound of the door being pushed open. The willow tree opened its eyes. Seeing Jiang Junling coming in, Liu Shu smiled. Yes, from his eyes and the change in the corners of his mouth, it was clear that he was smiling. He didn't have the demeanor and despair of a seriously injured person. Instead, he had an abnormal liveliness and cheerfulness. "I don't want to see anyone right now," said the willow tree. They understood how I was feeling at the moment, so they helped me reject a lot of visitors. But now that you're here, it must be very difficult for them, right? Jiang Junling walked over and reached out to knock on the steel box on Liu Shu's leg. He asked, "Are you going to become Superman to save the world?" Liu Shu smiled again and said, "If I were Superman, I would definitely destroy the world." "How unfortunate." Jiang Junling smiled. "I live in the same world as you. These iron boxes were shipped from Germany. It is said that they have a magical healing effect on my recovery. Oh, I forgot to tell you, my leg and hand bones are all broken. It is impossible to fully recover. Fortunately, I am Liu Shu, and it happens that the Liu family is not short of money. Now, for the sake of the money, let's see how much they can help me recover." "What about your face?" asked Jiang Junling. "When you just came in, I was worried that you would ask this question." Liu Shu said, "Since I woke up, I haven't looked in the mirror until now. This was impossible before. The first thing I did when I got up in the morning was to look in the mirror. Actually, I don't need to look in the mirror to know how serious the injury is. Because when he grabbed those pieces of paper and threw them at me, I hadn't fainted yet. Those pieces of paper, every one of them was a knife. This face, I'm afraid, is completely ruined. If it is really ruined, will the title of Huaqing's public lover be handed over to someone else?" Jiang Junling said without hesitation. "If Huaqing chooses another 4 clowns of Huaqing, I will definitely be on the list again. And I will be the top of the 4 clowns," Liu Shu said in a gloomy voice. After a pause, Liu Shu said viciously, "I want to kill him." Liu Chaoga resigned from the school, pulled the Qin family into the partnership, and founded Chaoyan Energy Technology Company. Their core technology is the Rubik's Cube. The real, perfect, and flawless Rubik's Cube technology, said Jiang Junling with a smile. Who are you guys working for? I already know about this, Lu Shu said. The Lu family has become a laughing stock. You don't have to specially come over to mock us. Only when you know shame can you be brave, Jiang Junling said with a smile. He patted the steel box on Lu Shu's body and said, "May they bless you." After saying that, he turned around and left. Air Force One. Fang Yin once again sat in the high-altitude restaurant of this hotel. Looking at the mighty Qingjiang not far away, his heart was filled with emotions. Not long ago, there was a murder case here. An innocent and kind little security guard with 2 warm dimples when he smiled was knocked down and killed. The sorrow had not gone far, and the sound of crying could still be heard, but the little security guard had already been forgotten. His body was cremated, and his blood was washed away. Other than the throbbing pain in the chest of his loved ones, too much evidence of his existence in this world had been erased. May he rest in peace. The rolling Yangtze River flows east. The waves wash away all heroes, Fang Yin muttered to himself. Even heroes will be eliminated, let alone a little security guard. Mr. Fang, what are you lamenting about? After Zhu Jian ordered, he walked to Fang Yan's side and stood still. Looking at the night view of Huaqing outside the window, he said, "Looking at the prices on the menu, I feel that the prices are really not worth it. But standing in front of the floor-to-ceiling window and looking at the whole of Huaqing under your eyes, I feel a sense of heroism like a serf who has turned over a new leaf. I also feel that there's a reason why the restaurant is expensive." Fang Yin turned around and said to Zhu Jian in a reproachful tone, "We're not strangers. You don't know me. Do you think I don't know you? There are at least 80, if not 100 restaurants in front of the school gate. Ordering a hot pot and a few bottles of beer, chatting while eating, isn't that more comfortable than drinking tasteless foreign wine and eating these uncooked steaks and greasy foie gras here?" Zhu Jian's eyes widened and said, "You've eaten here before?" "I've eaten once," Fang Yin said. Zhu Jian looked embarrassed and said with some embarrassment, "I didn't order the foreign wine, steak, and foie gras you mentioned. It's too expensive." Fang Yin waved his hand indifferently and said, "It doesn't matter what you eat. It's very important who you eat with." Mr. Fang's words are reasonable. Zhu Jian said with great emotion, "It's important who you eat with. Mr. Fang, you can't understand how I feel. When I was expelled from the school, everyone saw me as a snake or scorpion. Even my wife had a deep misunderstanding of me and brought the child back to her parents' home. I wanted to see the child, but I didn't even have a chance. Your own parents, wife, and child all despise you. What's the point of living in this world? To be honest, it's not that I didn't want to die, but I couldn't accept it. Fortunately, you appeared. If it weren't for you, I would still be wearing that hat and carrying that burden. I wouldn't be able to eat well, and I would wake up from my dreams time and time again. Now the bitterness is over and the sweetness is beginning. I want to repay you, but I don't know how. I've been thinking that I should treat you to a meal. Have a good meal. Find the best and most expensive restaurant in Huaqing for a meal. This Air Force One is too difficult to book." I asked Director Li for help, and only then did I get a table in a bad position. The private room is ridiculously expensive, and we don't even have a chance to use it. Although he was mentally prepared, his hands still trembled when he saw the price of the dishes on the menu. "Mr. Fang, people are still divided by class. I didn't believe it before, and I didn't want to believe it. Now I believe it." Fang Yin smiled and said, "I don't care if there's a hierarchy or not. Anyway, I prefer the small hot pot and 20 yuan draft beer at the school gate. That's life." "I like it too," Zhu Jian said loudly. "That's life. We can go there every day and drink every day. But this Air Force One, I might only come here once in my life. It's to invite you, Mr. Fang. Just think of it as a luxurious enjoyment." The two of them arrived early, and there weren't too many customers in the restaurant. Hearing Zhu Jian's words, some people had a pensive look on their faces, but more people showed disdain. Fang Yin felt that Zhu Jian was honest and frank, and had the righteousness and decadence of a scholar. This wasn't a bad thing. Zhu Jian ordered a bottle of Wuliangye. This kind of domestic liquor was expensive, but compared to foreign liquor that cost tens of thousands, it was still affordable. The dishes were served, and the two chatted happily while eating. Fang Yin inadvertently raised his head and saw an acquaintance walking in. Fang Yin had no intention of standing up to greet him. He had his own friends, and others had their own lives. Why bother others? He didn't expect that his friend would encounter some difficulties. Fang Yin put down the cup in his hand and said to Zhu Jian, "You drink first, I'll go greet my friend." "You have friends here?" Zhu Jian asked in surprise. As soon as he finished speaking, Fang Yin had already left. Chapter 194. Summer walked to the left, and the huge body walked to the left. Summer walked to the right, and the huge body walked to the right. Summer walked to the left again, and the huge body moved over again. Anyone could see that someone was deliberately looking for trouble. Summer raised her head angrily and said, "Lanshan Valley, do you think this is interesting?" "Interesting," the tall man said. "Get out of the way." "No way. Lanshan Valley, I have something very important to do. Don't get in my way. For me, what I'm doing now is the most important thing." Lanshan Valley. Summer suppressed her anger and scolded. A faint red flush appeared on her tender white neck, and her bright eyes were filled with helpless anger. She was wearing a black silk evening gown, and the smooth and moist satin outlined her enchanting and sexy figure. She was covered with a small white shawl, which covered her beautiful collarbone and snow-white breast that her slender suspenders could not cover. It was faintly discernible, attracting people's wild thoughts. Whether it was the heavenly king superstar or the girl next door, every woman was a seductive demon. They may not know Chinese, mathematics, Murphy's Law, or this year's newly elected Mr. Football. However, they must know how to present their bodies and show their most attractive side in front of men. The simple, bright, silver high heels wrapped around her white and flawless feet, and her toes were dyed a deep and mysterious black. Noble, gorgeous. There was also a kind of mellow beauty that was extremely rare on a star. "Miss Summer, are you calling my name?" Lanshan Valley crossed his arms and asked with a smile. "I say, isn't it inappropriate to pursue a girl like this?" Fang Yin stood behind Xiaji and looked at the man who was like a small mountain in front of them. He said, "Although I don't have much experience in this area, I think as long as you buy her a villa, a sport car, a diamond jewelry, beautiful clothes, and a designer bag, as long as you are willing to do so, I think the girl will be willing to go with you or don't mind you standing in front of her." Xiaji turned around and saw Fang Yin. She cried out in surprise, "Fang Yin, it's you? Why are you here?" Fang Yin forced a smile and said, "If I knew you were here, I definitely wouldn't be here today." Xia Tianran smiled sweetly and said, "It's really sad to hear you say that. Are you that unwilling to see me?" "I just think it's too troublesome to interact with beautiful women," Fang Yin said. "If you were my girlfriend, it would be natural for me to help you solve your problems. You can't be my girlfriend, right? Why should I waste my time and energy getting involved in unnecessary trouble? When you hold the hand of a tall, rich, and handsome man and marry into a rich family, people who don't know will point at the back of your head and say, 'Look, that poor spare tire. It's not worth it.'" Xiaji smiled even more happily, feeling that the man in front of him was too interesting. She had a deep impression of him the last time they met, and this time she was even more attracted by his frank and direct way of speaking. She teased, "Then shall we date? I don't want you to buy me a villa, a sports car, a diamond jewel, and designer clothes. I can buy you a villa, a sports car, a diamond jewel, and designer clothes." Fang Yin hurriedly waved his hand and said, "You'd better go and harm others. I don't think I'm worthy of you." "Fang Yin, you're really annoying." Xiaji laughed so hard that she couldn't breathe. "This is the first time I've confessed to a man, and I was rejected. You're a big star, and you're so beautiful. I'm definitely not at ease if you run around all day long. If you do a kissing scene with someone or something like that, then wouldn't I collapse?" Fang Yin said seriously, My little heart can't stand this stimulation. We're really not suitable for each other. Okay. Then I won't force you to date me. Xiaoji magnanimously said. It's always okay to be friends, right? Aren't we already friends? Fang Yin said. But friends are also divided into levels. You can only be my ordinary friend now. Xiaoji felt that she really had no status in front of Fang Yin. He was a big star. Why didn't he care about it at all? Lan Shanggu looked at Fang Yin, who was laughing and chatting and completely ignoring his existence, and said, It looks like I'm redundant standing here. Xiaoji waved his hand and said, You leave first. Fang Yin glanced at Lan Shanggu and said, You go buy a house and a car first. Be patient. Good food is not afraid of late. Lan Shanggu sneered and said, What? You're going to send me away just like that? Even if you want to put on a show of a hero saving a beauty, you have to first get rid of me, this eyesore of a villain. All right, Lan Shanggu, stop messing around. Xiaoji said helplessly. She pointed to the Lan Valley and said, This is where I came from. We grew up in a courtyard. He often bullied me. Lan Shanggu laughed out loud. His rough face actually revealed a child's innocent smile. He said proudly, Little Tian, we meet again. We meet again. So what? Xiaoji said with dissatisfaction. You came to Flower City, but you didn't even greet me. Is that right? If Uncle and Annie knew that I didn't even treat you to a meal when you came to Flower City, wouldn't they call me and scold me? You deserve it, Xiaoji said without the slightest bit of sympathy. Xia then pointed at Fang Yin and said, Fang Yin, the school's language teacher. Fang Yin? Teacher? Lan Shanggu's eyes instantly turned sharp as he said, Rosefinch Secondary's teacher Fang Yin? You know me? Fang Yin asked. Lan Shanggu smiled and said, There aren't many people in Flower City who don't know you now, right? Seeing the vigilance in Fang Yan's eyes, Lan Shanggu laughed even more boldly and said, You don't have to stare at me like that. I didn't investigate you. What happened between you and Lu Chaoga, as well as the Jiang and Lu families, has already spread throughout Flower City. The Jiang and Lu families were set up by you guys, and now they're busy killing each other. You and Lu Chaoga took a large sum of money and the real Rubik's Cube technology and ran off to set up a new company. How could we not have any news of such a big commotion this time? To be honest, I really admire you. You have to know, not everyone can take advantage of the business world's butcher and that old Fox Kang Long Tan. This move of yours is not as simple as taking advantage of others. You guys actually know each other? Xia Ji's eyes widened. Then, she turned to look at Fang Yin and said, Aren't you a teacher at school? It looks like you're very famous. Fang Yin stared sharply at the mountain valley and said, He knows me. I'm not very familiar with him. My nickname is Small. I really don't need you to worry about me. Lan Shanggu chuckled and said, Besides, I'm also afraid of being remembered by you. Look at my appearance. It's obvious that I'm a simple character with well-developed limbs. If you set me up, who am I going to reason with? Xiaoji looked at Fang Yin and said, Don't listen to his nonsense. He's Lan Shanggu. You might not be familiar with this name, but among the 4 prodigies of Huaqing, which one of them is simple? He's one of the 4 prodigies of Huaqing. He seems to be quite famous in Huaqing. Don't. Lan Shanggu waved his hand and said, I say, Xiaoji, don't put me together with those guys. I can't afford to lose that person. You don't know, do you? The person standing in front of you right now is much more famous than the 4 young masters of Huaqing. At the very least, he has already lost 2 young masters in his hands. Do you know what nickname he has? What nickname? Flower Breaker Young Master. Lan Shanggu said, Aren't we some 4 prodigies? He broke the flowers one by one. Didn't he become the Flower Breaker Young Master? What happened? Xiaoji looked at Lan Shanggu in confusion. Although she had a deep background and an extraordinary background, most of her thoughts were on singing and acting. She was so busy that she didn't even have time to take a nap. How could she have the time and energy to pay attention to the movements of these young masters in Huaqing? Lan Shanggu smiled but didn't answer. He said, If you're interested, you can listen to Mr. Fang's story. He's the person involved and also the teacher. He'll definitely be more hot-blooded than me. Xiaoji looked at Fang Yin. Fong Yin smiled helplessly and said, "Actually, there's nothing much to say. It's the story of an ordinary citizen resisting the demolition bully." You must be tired of reading this kind of news in the newspapers. Lan Shanggu gave a thumbs up to Fong Yin and said, "Now that you mention it, it really is the case. If Jiang Zhulu and Lu Shu, these two arrogant guys, knew that you described them as evil tyrants, I'm afraid they would spit out a few more liters of blood." Fong Yin glanced at Xia Kiki and said, "Since you are friends, then I misunderstood. I still have friends here, so I won't disturb you." With that, Fong Yin turned around to leave. "Teacher Fong Yin, wait a minute," Xiaji anxiously shouted. "What's the matter?" Fong Yin stopped and asked. Xia looked at Lan Valley and said, "You have friends here too, right?" "Yes." Lan Shanggu nodded. "When have I, Lango Valley, ever paid for my meals outside? Then go and accompany your friends." Xia said, "Don't let others wait too long. It's impolite." She turned around and pulled Fong Yin, saying, "Fong Yin, you appeared at the right time. Come, do me a favor." "What?" Fong Yin asked. "Fight against counterfeits." Xia Kiki smiled slyly and said, "Fight against counterfeits?" Lan Shanggu looked at the backs of the two of them as they left, a gloomy expression appearing on his face. Very quickly, he returned to his harmless big guy appearance and shouted, "Hey, you two are going to send me away just like that." Chapter 195. Fong Yin was good at beating people up and being beaten up, but this was the first time he had done something like this. He was dragged into the private room by Xia Ji. Along the way, all the waiters who saw them bowed to greet them. Surprisingly, no one took out their phone to take a picture or pounced on him to ask for an autograph. If Zhu Jian saw this, he would probably praise number one in the air for being worth the money. The waiter helped to push open the thick door of the private room, and a man's loud voice floated out. "The Chen family's fists, the Tan family's legs, and the other kung fu all rely on the mouth." Why do you say that? Because most of the other kung fu is packaged by bragging and has no practical value. Look at the martial arts masters of our Huaxia country. Each one is more powerful than the other, and each one is more famous than the other. But what is the actual situation? As soon as we fight with foreigners, we get beaten up like a fried bean curd. Especially the few times we fought with the Thai boxers, we actually didn't win even once. We were beaten so badly by them that we felt ashamed to say it out loud. Although Huaxiao martial arts as a whole gives people the feeling that the sun is setting in the west, there's also a group of hot-blooded people who are working hard to correct its name. Do you know which master my master learned martial arts from? State Preceptor Li Zonghao. Who is Li Zonghao? What kind of people are his disciples? That's the Imperial Guards, the elites of the elites who serve the country's leader, and also the Dragon Protection Branch. That Chen Zhengfeng from the Chun family and Tan Qinglin from the Tan family aren't even worthy of carrying shoes for State Preceptor Li. The man's voice stopped abruptly because he saw Xia and Fong Yin walking into the private room. Feng Yuancheng saw Xia and quickly got up to greet him. "Xia, why are you here?" Xia was referring to Xia, and the sentence, "Why are you here?" was obviously directed at Fong Yin. He didn't expect that Xia would bring his old enemy, Fong Yin, along. Last time at the hotel on Xixia Mountain, he was forced to apologize by Fong Yan's students. This made him lose all face, and he felt deeply ashamed. This time, when they met again, he naturally wouldn't give Fong Yin any face to see. Long distance, when I came in, I met Fong Yin, so I asked him to come in with me. Xia explained with a gentle smile. Although his attitude was amiable, his tone was unquestionable. "Since I've already brought him in, I won't let him out so easily. You call me to introduce a Guoshu expert to me. Are you referring to these two here?" Feng Yuancheng glared fiercely at Fong Yin, and when he looked at Xia, his smile had already become gentle and affectionate. He pointed to the middle-aged man sitting on the sofa and said, "This is Tai Chi Master Lu Xiuru. the head of the Qingyang Martial Arts School in Yinjing and the vice president of the Yinjing Martial Arts Association. Last month, Huaxia television station did a documentary called Tai Chi World, which told the story of Teacher Liu. Teacher Liu has students all over the world and is one of the top experts in the country. Liu Xiuru had a thin, long beard, a dignified appearance, and bright eyes. He was dressed in a black tang suit, which made him look extraordinary. In his hand, he was holding 19 pieces of gold-threaded Nanmu prayer beads. He was slowly spinning them in his palm, carefully playing with them. When everyone looked at him, he did not get up. He only smiled faintly at Xia. He had the demeanor of a man who was far away from the world. Feng Yuancheng pointed to the eloquent young man and said, "This is Master Liu's disciple, Wang Hongying. He won the 3rd place in the national Tai Chi competition with serious injuries. He is amazing." Wang Hongying was short and thin, with triangular eyes and few eyebrows. He looked like a yellow-skinned monkey. He was wearing a white tang suit, but he deliberately pretended to be an elegant gentleman, which seemed a little out of place. When Wang Hongying saw the big star Xia, he quickly walked up and stretched out his hands to shake hands with Xia. He said with a smile, "If someone else asked us to act together, we would never agree. What is Chinese martial arts? Only killing people without performing is Chinese martial arts. What's the point of putting on a show in front of the camera? Isn't that insulting?" Seeing Feng Yuancheng's unhappy face, Wang Hongying changed the topic and said, "But I heard that Miss Xia is looking for us, and Brother Feng is sincere, so my master and I decided to come and have a look. Miss Xia, I am your loyal fan. This cooperation can be considered as my close cooperation with my idol, right?" Feng Yin laughed in his heart. This guy had flattered 2 people with a single sentence. He didn't know how good his real skills were, but his eloquence was definitely top-notch. Xia Chun and Wang Hongying's hands touched for a moment and said gratefully, "Thank you. Then I'll have to trouble you 2 masters." "You're welcome. It's our honor to be able to cooperate with Miss Xia." Wang Hongying seemed to be the spokesperson for his master Liu Xiuru. His master closed his eyes and didn't say a word, but he alone took care of the social interaction. Feng Yuancheng looked at Xia Chun and said, "Xia, we're waiting for you to eat. Now that everyone is here, can we get someone to serve the dishes?" "Of course." Xia Ji smiled and nodded. "Master Liu, Master Wang, I came late. I solemnly apologize to the 2 teachers. Miss Xia is too polite." Wang Hongying waved his hand and said. His gaze turned to Feng Yin, who was beside Xia Chun, and asked, "This is?" "It's my friend Feng Yin," Xia Ji said with a smile. When Xia looked at Feng Yin, he blinked his eyes, meaning to say, "Help me keep an eye on them and see if these 2 guys are really Tai Chi experts." "Red Eagle, speaking of which, you guys are the same." Feng Yuancheng reminded with a kind expression, "This is a Tai Chi expert." "Oh, you also know Tai Chi?" Wang Hongying was interested when she looked at Feng Yin. Even the Tai Chi master Liu Xiuru, who was sitting on the sofa to rest, opened his eyes and looked at Feng Yin, then instantly returned to normal. Young and short of breath, it was hard to look at. "I know a little," Feng Yin said with a smile. He now understood why Xia Chun said that she wanted to bring him here to fight against counterfeits. It felt like there were 2 Tai Chi masters waiting to work with her. The last time they met, Xia Chun had indicated that she wanted to add elements of Huaxia style to her new album. When she saw Feng Yan's Tai Chi performance at the peak of Zhengxia Mountain, she was shocked and wholeheartedly wanted to cooperate with Feng Yin. Unexpectedly, after being rejected several times by Feng Yin, Xia Chun had no choice but to find another expert. Feng Yuancheng understood Xia Chun's thoughts, so he asked around and found Liu Xiuru and Wang Hongying to recommend them to Xia Chun. If Liu Xiuru and Wang Hongying were more powerful than Feng Yin, would they still look for Feng Yin cooperation in the summer? Obviously not. This was also the reason why Feng Yuancheng had called Xia Chun several times to invite her to the banquet, because he knew what was on Xia Chun's mind the most right now. Wang Hongying was overjoyed and said, "That's good. Come, let's push each other. The dishes haven't arrived yet, so let's warm up first." Xia Chun refused and said, "Let's eat first. The dishes are coming up." The reason she invited Fong Yin to help her fight against counterfeits was only because she subconsciously felt that Fong Yin was an expert. However, she had no idea how high Fong Yin's level was. If Fong Yin were to be injured by the Tai Chi expert that Feng Yuancheng had found, then it would be her fault. She only wanted Fong Yin to help her see if she could find any flaws in the words and actions of these people. As for sparring, she felt that it was very dangerous. Miss Ya, don't worry. When we spar with each other, we always stop at the right time. It won't hurt anyone. Wang Hongying explained to Xia Chun. Fong Yin also waved his hand and said, "Forget it. What is it? Brother, you're not giving me face?" Wang Hongying was unhappy. Scholars make friends through poetry, and we martial artists naturally make friends through martial arts. Only by sparring with each other and advancing together can we improve day by day. What kind of future can we have if we are stuck in a rut and don't seek to make progress? It's not that I don't want to give you face. I'm just a teacher. What do I need such brilliant martial arts for? If I use Tai Chi to hit a student and the student sues me for corporal punishment, I still have to eat the school board. Isn't that right? Feng Yuancheng looked at Wang Hongying with a smile and said, "Red Eagle, forget it. Since he's afraid, don't force him." Hearing Feng Yuancheng's words, Wang Hongying's determination to spar with Fong Yin was even more determined. If he could perform well in front of the summer goddess, he might be able to enter the eyes of the goddess and have a chance to get close to her. Men not only look at their face, but also at their kung fu. Are you going to fight or not? Wang Hongying said with a look of disdain. It's annoying. How can he be as straightforward and heroic as us martial artists? Who is your master? Is that what he taught you? The next time I see him, I want to test him and see if he's a good-for-nothing like you. Wang Hongying looked at Xia Chen apologetically and said, "Miss Xia, please don't mind. We martial artists are like this. We have a fiery temper." Fong Yin was amused by the kid's performance and said, "Who is my master? With your cultivation, you definitely won't have the chance to see him. I have to say, you're very lucky." He squatted down slightly and stretched out a hand. He waved at Wang Hongying and said, "Since you strongly request it, then I'll accompany you to push your hands." Wang Hongying's face flushed with excitement and said, "That's right. A man should have some guts." He gave Feng Yuancheng a look that said, "Don't worry, I'll teach this kid a good lesson." He strode in front of Fong Yin and said, "Kid, learn a little. I'm not someone who will push hands with others so easily." Fong Yin thought for a moment and said helplessly, "You always steal other people's lines like this. Do you know that you make others speechless?" "What?" Wang Hongying put her hand on Fong Yin's wrist and looked at him in confusion. Fong Yin's right foot rushed forward, and with a flick of his wrist, Wang Hongying's body flew backward as if he had been electrocuted. Bang! His body fell heavily on the carpet a few meters away. The strength had not dissipated, and his body continued to slide forward. Clang! His head heavily hit the glass tea table in front of Lu Shiuru, and only then did he stop. Fong Yin looked at Feng Yuancheng and the others and said embarrassedly, "He's right. We martial artists have such a fiery temper." Chapter 196. The smile on Feng Yuancheng's face froze before it could spread. It was like the extreme cold before the earth was destroyed. Butterflies were flapping their wings. Bees were busy gathering pollen. Children were chasing and playing in the grass. And dung beetles were asking their mothers why they were eating shit. Everything was so quiet and beautiful. A black cloud floated over, and they were frozen into ice sculptures. Feng Yuancheng felt that his heart was colder than an ice sculpture. Was this the Tai Chi master he invited? Was this the national third place he bragged about? It was obviously a fake product. If Wang Hongying was not the person he found, Feng Yuancheng would definitely suspect that this guy was paid by Fong Yin to cooperate with him. It was too fake. You flew so far away when I touched you. Do you think this is a martial arts film? We are too embarrassed to write a script like this when we are filming. Xiaji's mouth was slightly open and her pupils were swollen. She could not believe the scene in front of her. She wanted to say, "Stop there." She wanted to say, don't hurt people. She also wanted to say, the battle was over before she could say anything. Was this Tai Chi? Wasn't it too simple? Was this Tai Chi? Wasn't it too domineering? Lu Shiweru's eyes opened in an instant. His long beard was flying, and his thick eyebrows were imposing without anger. His eyes were like sharp blades that cut Fong Yan's face again and again. Inch force? Lu Shiweru asked in a deep voice. You can say that, Fong Yan said, but we all call it thunder. Thunder not only used strength, but also controlled the momentum. Just now, when Fong Yin sent Wang Hongying flying, he first used thunder and then used his inner force to beat him to the point that he could not fight back. Fong Yin did not explain. He knew that Lu Shiweru did not understand. Lu Shiweru stood up and walked straight to Fong Yin. He did not care about his disciple Wang Hongying's life and did not look at him from beginning to end. It was as if he had become a dead man. Heartless. This was Fong Yan's evaluation of Lu Shiweru. This kind of person was very dangerous. Because of their cold temperament, they were easy to get into a dead end when practicing martial arts. Without being able to establish a sect, it would be difficult for one to become a great master. However, this kind of person was extremely talented. If this was the ancient world of martial arts, there would be evil sects that harmed the world of martial arts and attempted to unify the world of martial arts. In the end, they were killed by young heroes. Fong Yin pointed at Wang Hongying, who was lying on the ground vomiting blood, and reminded, don't you want to see your disciple? His internal organs are injured, and he needs immediate treatment. You want to break my Dao heart? Lu Shiweru stared at Fong Yin with ridicule in his eyes, disdainful of his insignificant tricks. Deaths and injuries are unavoidable in sparring. You hurt him. That's your ability. He was injured by you because he wasn't skilled enough. Who could be blamed? His life and death have nothing to do with me. Your life and death are under my control. Sounds reasonable, Fong Yin said with a smile. But this can't hide the fact that you're cruel and unscrupulous bastard. Lu Shiweru shouted angrily. With a flash, he appeared in front of Fong Yin and clawed at Fong Yan's eyes. Eagle peck. This move was extremely ruthless. He wanted to copy the eagle's man-eating method and forcefully dig out Fong Yan's eyeballs. You're courting death. Fong Yin was completely enraged. In sparring, even if Wang Hongying insulted his sect, he would only give a light punishment. This old thing's heart was vicious. He actually wanted to take someone's life and cripple them. It was really shameful and hateful. Instead of retreating, he moved forward and clawed at Lu Shiweru's wrists that were grabbing at his eyes. Lu Shiweru had rich combat experience and changed his move at the last moment. He changed the position of the eagle's peck and clawed at Fong Yan's wrists. Fong Yin also changed his moves, looking for traces of Lu Shiweru's claws after he changed his move. The two changed their moves at the same time. Their hands didn't touch, and their clothes didn't touch. Their hands didn't touch, and their clothes didn't touch. In the eyes of a bystander, it was like an old man and a handsome young man were playing a drinking game. One hand gesture changed, and the other followed. The difference was that the hand gestures became faster and faster, and the changes became fiercer and fiercer. Finally, it became a blurry phantom that couldn't be seen clearly. However, the wind was whistling, and the atmosphere was solemn. Even if you couldn't see their moves clearly, you could feel that it was extremely dangerous. It was as if there was a big stone pressing on your heart, so heavy that you couldn't breathe. In the blink of an eye, Fong Yin and Lu Shiweru had already exchanged 60 or 70 moves. This guy dared to open a dojo in Yinjing and accept disciples, so he really did have some skills. Hiss! The sound of clothes tearing came. Fong Yin and Lu Shiweru's figures were like magnets with strong magnetic fields, bouncing to the sides. Lu Shiweru's face was ugly, and Fong Yan's hand was holding a piece of cloth that was torn from Lu Shiweru's sleeve. This time, it was obvious that Lu Shiweru had lost by a bit. Good kung fu. Very fast reaction. Very strong qigong. Lu Shiweru used the word good 3 times in a row and stared at Fong Yin with sharp eyes and said, "Who is your master? To be able to teach a disciple like you, your master must not be a nobody. You'd better say your master's name to avoid the flood rushing against the Dragon King temple. If we meet again, I won't be able to explain it to your master's elders." Fong Yin was really angry and amused. All along, he felt that Fong Yingying and Fong Haohan were very shameless. He didn't expect that the guy he met today was even more shameless than Fong Yingying and Fong Haohan combined. I have seen a lot of TV movies, and I have summed up a few conclusions to share with you. First, generally, people who take the initiative to say that you'd better say your master's name to avoid the flood rushing against the Dragon King temple are bad people. Because good people don't need to care about their master's name. They only care about the opponent's position, right or wrong. Second, the person who takes the initiative to say this must be the weaker side. Third, this sentence is usually said after the fight is over. This is because the bad guy on the weaker side knows that he can't win, but he's too embarrassed to admit defeat directly, so he can only find a reason to get out of the situation by using his connections. Fong Yin turned to look at Feng Yuancheng and said, "You act in a movie. Do you always write your scripts like this?" Feng Yuancheng thought about it seriously, and his face turned pale, feeling that he had been shot in the chest again. Fong Yin looked at Lu Shiwaru with a smile and said, "I won't let you get what you want. I won't give you the chance to use your relationship. Of course, the reason why I don't tell you my master's name has nothing to do with what I said. I just feel that you can't have any relationship with us." Arrogant kid. Lu Shiwaru's face was green with anger. Blue veins popped out, and all the bones in his body cracked. "Since you don't know how to appreciate favors, then don't blame me for hurting you." Fong Yin waved at him and said, "Come." Lu Shiwaru raised the prayer beads with both hands and pulled hard. Pa! The thread snapped, and the 19 golden Jinan prayer beads scattered into a straight line. Lu Shiwaru waved his right sleeve, and the 19 prayer beads were all pulled into his robe. Break! With a loud shout, the 19 prayer beads shot out like 19 cannonballs. The 19 prayer beads formed 3 formations: the first grade formation, the 3 talents formation, and the 11 chain formation. The formations were interlocked, and the beads were connected. Each bead had killing intent, and each formation had killing intent. Killing intent shook the heavens. Like a swarm of locusts, like a sky full of stars, the 19 suns formed 2 small formations and 1 large formation and charged towards Fong Yin. They surrounded and isolated him from all directions, as well as all possible escape routes and possible changes in the formation. The 3 formations were connected and formed a new formation, the End of Generations formation. This was a common saying in Jianghu. If the 3 formations passed through, not a single chicken or dog would be spared, and all humans and gods would be destroyed. This was a sure-kill weapon used in large-scale battles, and its power was endless. Right now, there was only Fong Yin in the eye of the formation. If there were other parents and brothers standing together with Fong Yin, they would also be annihilated. That was why there was the saying of ending one's descendants. Fong Yin closed his eyes. The dantian in his body was scorching hot. That was because the heart of Tai Chi was stimulated by the strong, killing intent, and it automatically operated. The realm of Tai Chi, the land controlled by it, is my realm. The land is mine, the cattle and sheep are mine, the mountains and rivers are also mine. Everything is mine. I am a king. Time stopped. Space stopped. Fong Yin could clearly see Feng Yuanqing's open mouth and the beads of sweat on his forehead. He could see Feng Yuanqing's frightened eyes and the light yellow fluff on his face. Wang Hongying also got up. His expression was ferocious with hatred and the joy of revenge. Time would not stop, and space would not stop. However, in Fong Yan's eyes, everything seemed to have slowed down. Just like an airplane flying high in the sky, when your speed reaches a certain number, you'll find that the clouds are still, and so are you. In fact, you are flying, moving, advancing at a supersonic speed. The heart of Tai Chi, cleansing the muscles and marrow, strengthening the body and spirit. Fong Yin moved. His figure unfolded at the speed of a sand sculpture escaping from a rabbit. His posture relaxed. his expression romantic. The first grade formation took the lead and attacked first. He stretched out his right hand and grasped the first grade formation prayer bead, holding it in the palm of his hand. The formation was broken. The three-talent formation arrived in the blink of an eye. Fong Yin stretched out his hand again and grasped the prayer bead in the eye of the formation. It was as easy as picking a peach in a garden. The formation was broken. The 11 child chain formation surrounded Fong Yin. They formed a trident and fiercely stabbed towards Fong Yin's chest. Fong Yin took out the 3 prayer beads in the eye of the formation and rearranged them. Then he stuffed all the prayer beads he had picked from the grade 1 formation, 3 talents formation, into the transformed 11 child interlocking formation. Fong Yan's body moved like a ghost through the formation, his hands dancing up and down as fast as lightning. Crack! With a crisp sound, the 19 prayer beads formed a spear in Fong Yan's hand. The spearhead was like the head of a snake, swaying, looking left and right as if looking for prey. Fong Yin pushed hard with both hands. The spear distorted space, cut through the air, and shot back at an unpredictable speed. Lu Xiuru was terrified and turned to escape. Crack! The prayer bead spear passed through Lu Xiuru's body and nailed to the wall of the private room with a bang. Chapter 197. Crack! Until this time, the bead at the end of the prayer bead spear fell to the ground. Crack! Another one. Pa 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 pa. The other beads also fell to the ground. After the bead in front fell to the ground, the bead behind followed. It could be seen that even without the silk thread, the connection of these beads was still very tight. The handle of the spear was getting shorter and shorter and finally disappeared. Except for the 3 prayer beads that crashed into the wall, the other 16 prayer beads were all intact. The most amazing and puzzling thing was that this golden Namu was not a heavy and hardwood. Why could it collide with each other without breaking? Shoot into the wall without breaking? The energy was as hard as steel. Flying flowers could hurt people, and a leaf could take people's head. Even flesh and blood could break mountains and stones with the help of the energy, let alone wood that was harder than the palm. Everyone was stunned. Was he still human? Was this a myth? Before the duel, Feng Yuancheng and Wang Hongying had different expressions. Feng Yuancheng was cursing and gloating, and Wang Hongying was filled with hatred and joy at the prospect of getting her revenge. Whether it was Feng Yuancheng or Wang Hongying, they thought that as long as Lu Xiuru was willing to fight, then Fong Yin could only be beaten. There would be no second result. Although Xia saw Fong Yin practicing Tai Chi from a distance, his posture was very beautiful, which was in line with the mood she wanted. However, she didn't have an answer in her mind about Fong Yan's actual combat experience. When the battle was over, their expressions all became like this. Oh, Zero, how is it possible? Lu Xiuru looked down at his chest, unable to accept the facts in front of him. He lost. He lost so miserably. Puff blood was flowing. Because the prayer beads pierced through his body, the wound was neat and cylindrical. At that moment, the beads turned into a spear, which was extremely hard and indestructible. The blood soaked his clothes and mixed with the air, making the sound of blood bubbles. Why not? Fong Yin sneered. Do you think you're the best in the world? How can you take my formation? Lu Xiuru still couldn't believe what had happened in front of him. He had 1,800 reasons for suspicion. Lu Xiuru made a name for himself at a young age. Later on, he became Li Zhonghao's disciple and was one of the top Tai Chi experts in Yanjin. Lu Xiuru was extremely conceited. He finished his apprenticeship at the age of 30 and opened a dojo in Beijing to accept disciples. He defeated challengers from all over the world and once claimed to be invincible under the age of 40. On the other hand, his master, Li Zhonghao, was already 55 years old. Obviously, he was not within the scope of his contempt. This sentence had been shouted for many years, and it had never failed before. He was the representative of Hua Xia's martial arts and the leader of Li's Tai Chi, therefore. When Fong Yin walked in, Feng Yuancheng had introduced him as the male lead of Hua Xia TV's large-scale documentary, Tai Chi World. What about Fong Yin? When Fong Yin first followed Xia in, Lu Xiuru didn't even look at him. Even if it was Xia himself, he just smiled indifferently. He didn't get up, shake hands, or greet him. He had the demeanor of a peerless master. Later, when Feng Yuancheng said that Fong Yin was a Tai Chi expert, he opened his eyes and glanced at Fong Yin. Then he quickly closed his eyes again. How strong could this green-haired boy be, and how deep could his cultivation be? Besides, Fong Yin's appearance really didn't have the demeanor of a master. If you didn't wear a tang suit or a layman's robe, and if you didn't have a string of beads on your neck or hand, who would be willing to admit that you were a martial arts master? Packaging was very important in Jianghu. It was not until Fong Yin knocked away his disciple Wang Hongying with one move that he began to take Fong Yin seriously. He also wanted to take the initiative to challenge and to save his face. No matter how bad Wang Hongying's skills were, he was Lu Xiuru's disciple after all. His disciple was knocked away in front of him, and he didn't look good. If he didn't do anything, it would be really difficult for him to step down. But how did he lose? His first grade, 3 talents, and 11 shoulder chain formation was a big killer move found in an ancient book. He had practiced it for more than 17 years, and its power was extremely great. He had lost many good people, including some famous people in the whole of Huaxia. This Fong Yin was even 17 years old. Tai Chi to control the force, lightning to break the formation. Fong Yin said with a smile, "When a person's internal energy is deep and his momentum is great, a stare at you is lightning, a roar is lightning. A punch is also lightning." Fong Yin waved his hand disinterestedly and said, "There's no point in talking to you about this. Even if I said it, you wouldn't understand. A scum like you who has evil thoughts, who easily breaks people's bones and takes their lives, is really harmful to nature and goes against the harmony of heaven. Even if you spend your whole life, you still won't be able to achieve the great Tao." Lu Xiuru was furious. With a poochie sound, he spat out a mouthful of blood. Feng Yuancheng couldn't dodge in time and was drenched by this rain of blood. He stood there awkwardly, his mouth slightly open, but he couldn't say a word. Although Lu Xiuru was defeated by Fong Yin, if those pearls were flying towards him, there would be as many holes on his body as there were pearls, right? Such a dangerous person. He really couldn't afford to offend. "Fall," Fong Yin said. Lu Xiuru stood there without moving. He felt that he could still hold on for a while. At least, he couldn't fall in front of this nameless junior. "You standing there makes me lose face. People who don't know would think that the two of us are cooperating to perform magic." Anger appeared on Lu Xiuru's face again, but the anger quickly turned into an expression of pain, because when he was angry, it affected the wound on his chest. Once the wound moved, the pain pierced his heart. That forcefully held breath of chi broke, just like that. Bastard. Lu Xiuru knew that he was tricked again. Plop. Lu Xiuru cooperated and knelt on the ground. Then his body slowly slid to the carpet. "Master!" Wang Hongying climbed up from the ground and quickly ran in the direction of Lu Xiuru. "Master, how are you? Master, are you okay? Master!" Fong Yin sighed softly. Although Wang Hongying's skills were not good, his character was not good, and he looked a bit too wretched, but he was still a very good disciple. At least, he regarded his master as his master. As for Lu Xiuru, he didn't regard Wang Hongying as his disciple at all. People who practice martial arts paid the most attention to the word friendship. In the eyes of Fong Yin, Lu Xiuru was a completely unqualified opponent. Fong Yin walked in front of Xia Ji and said, "The assessment is over. These two are fake." Xia Ji finally woke up from the state of shock. After looking at Lu Xiuru and Wang Hongying lying on the ground, he said to Feng Yuancheng, who was not far away, "Yuancheng, Teacher Lu and Teacher Wang are your friends. You treat them well for me. All the expenses will be borne by me. Sorry to trouble you." After that, he turned around and walked out of the box. Feng Yuancheng opened his mouth, but in the end, he didn't shout out what he wanted to say. Things had developed to this point. It was no longer suitable for Xia Ji to stay here. If a waiter came in or someone else saw it, it would cause a huge image crisis. More importantly, He was the one who invited Lu Xiuru and Wang Hongying over. Although Fang Yin was a hateful person and he was too heavy-handed, he was the only one who could clean up the mess. Could it be that he still had to let Xia Ji take action? If that was the case, he was afraid that he would have no place in her heart, right? Fang Yin followed behind Xia Ji. The two were about to leave, but Wang Hongying suddenly ran to the door and blocked their way. You want to leave after injuring someone? Wang Hongying shouted viciously. I want to call the police. I want the police to arrest all of you. Fang Yin, aren't you fierce? Aren't you powerful? You made me and my master like this. This is a crime of intentional injury. I want to see how you explain it to the police when they come. A cornered dog jumps over a wall, not to mention the hot-tempered Wang Hongying. After he scolded Fang Yin, he turned his attack on Xia Ji. Xia Ji, you bitch, you asked someone to invite me and master to come over to act for you. Now you're looking for a little pimp to beat us. You stood on the side and didn't say a word, and now you want to take the murderer away. Aren't you a star queen? Aren't you a pure jade girl in the entertainment circle? I'm going to ruin your reputation today. I'm going to let your fans see what kind of a bitch the woman they love is. Feng Yuancheng was anxious and rushed in front of Wang Hongying and shouted, Wang Hongying, shut up. Get out of the way. We will send your master to the hospital immediately. I will give you money, give you a lot of money. I won't let you come for nothing. Pa! Wang Hongying slapped Feng Yuancheng's face. Wang Hongying had practiced kung fu before, and this time she was furious. She slapped Feng Yuancheng's fair and tender face until it was purple and red, leaving a clear palm print on it. Because Wang Hongying had left her fingernails, it was unknown whether it was intentional or not, but her fingernails scratched under Feng Yuancheng's eyelid, tearing off a piece of flesh, dripping with blood. Feng Yuancheng, you idiot trash. You want to pick up girls? So master and I came to support you. We were beaten like dead dogs, and you stood there not even daring to fart. Why were we beaten? Why was master injured? Wasn't it because you wanted that bastard surnamed Fong to have a bad ending? Money? I don't fucking want money. I want you to die. I want you to lose your reputation and become the joke of the world. Feng Yuancheng stood there and covered his face. His face hurt, and his heart hurt even more. Wang Hongying was crazy. This mad dog had lost his mind, and now he would bite whoever he caught. Wang Hongying did not open the door, but shouted through the door, Someone come quickly, murder! Someone come quickly, bang! Fang Yin walked over and knocked Wang Hongying out with a punch. He glanced at Feng Yuancheng and said, No need to thank me. Chapter 198. When Fang Yin came out, Zhu Jian was already gone. The waiter handed him a note and said, Mr. Fang, your friend has to leave first. He left you a note. Fang Yin opened the note. On it was a row of beautiful words. The bill has been paid. This place is charged by the hour. I'm not sure when you'll be back, so I'll go back first. Fang Yin grinned. Zhu Jian wanted to pretend to be a tycoon, but the pressure of sitting there and not ordering anything and spending money every minute and second must have made him restless, right? This society was really realistic. What are you laughing at? Xia asked curiously. I'm thinking, is this a fake or a beating? Fang Yin replied with a smile. Xiaji's face was full of apology as he looked at Fang Yin and said, I'm really sorry. Feng Yuancheng called and said he wanted to introduce me to 2 Tai Chi experts. I really hope that my new album can add some Tai Chi elements, but you rejected me several times. I actually don't know much about Tai Chi, so I wanted to ask you to help me take a look. I didn't expect something like this to happen. Forget it. Anyway, it has already happened. Fang Yin waved his hand and said very generously, You just need to make some compensation. How can I compensate you? Xiaji asked with a smile. Fang Yin laughed and said, Then treat me to dinner. I wasn't full just now. Hearing Fang Yin say that she wasn't full, Xia remembered that she hadn't eaten tonight. With an apologetic expression, she said, No problem. What do you want to eat? I'll see if I can book a private room here. No need. Fang Yin waved his hand. It's better not to eat here. Something unpleasant had just happened, and eating here would affect one's appetite. Besides, eating here, even if I eat a lot of dishes, I still don't feel full. Xiaoji squinted his eyes and smiled, asking, what do you want to eat? At the roadside barbecue stall, Fang Yin and Xiaoji found a table near the corner and hid Xiaoji's body in the shadows that were difficult for the lights to reach. Fang Yin called the boss over and skillfully ordered a lot of food. He said, "Boss, please give me 2 more bottles of beer." "All right, I'll be there in a while." The boss replied, but his eyes were extremely strange as he looked at Xiaoji. This girl's clothes, appearance, temperament. No matter how he looked at it, she didn't look like she was here to eat barbecue. When the boss left, Fang Yin looked at Xiaoji and said, "Look at you, your style of clothes is not close to the people. If others see us sitting together, they will definitely misunderstand that I'm a pretty boy who specializes in deceiving rich girls." Xiaoji smiled bitterly and said, "Yin." As a public figure, Yin said. They stared at the results of your works, the gossip about you, and the way you dress. If you appeared in public wearing the same clothes half a year ago and wore it again half a year later, the reporters would say that you were outdated and that you didn't have the money to change into a new one. If your lip gloss was too bright or your eyeshadow was too heavy, you would also be attacked and criticized by them. You don't have to care, but you don't want to go through too much trouble. So, it's not wrong to follow the crowd. It's not easy being a celebrity. Fang Yin nodded in agreement. That's why I refuse to be the male lead in your music video. If I accidentally become popular and people ask for my autograph wherever I go, and young and beautiful girls run over to take pictures with me, how distressed can I be? Should I say yes or no? Not the male lead of the MV. Xiaoji corrected. These are some scenes of you practicing Tai Chi. If you don't agree, we don't have to use your face. We just want the moves and aura you use when you practice Tai Chi. You don't even use my face. Isn't that insulting? Fang Yin said angrily. When the beer was served, Fang Yin asked the owner to send the beer utensils. Xia Chun said, "Your kung fu is so good, can't you just use your hands to open it?" Of course. Fang Yin took the wine opener from the boss and said, "But I'm a low-key person. I don't want to attract too much attention." The boss looked at Fang Yin with disdain. He thought to himself, such a beautiful woman. Could she have been deceived by this guy's glib tongue? Bang! The beer bottle cap popped open. Fang Yin used a disposable plastic cup to pour a cup for Xia and then filled the cup in front of him. Fang Yin picked up his glass and said, "Come, big star, let me toast you. This should be your first time eating barbecue at a roadside stall, right?" Xiaoji shook his head and said, "Mom doesn't want me to eat these things. She says it's too dirty. I don't care. When I was studying, I often sneaked out with my classmates to eat barbecue and drink beer. After that, I rarely had the chance." Xiaoji picked up his glass and touched it with Fang Yin's. Then the two of them drank the chilled beer at the same time. From the inside to the outside, there was a refreshing feeling. Even the depression caused by the Lu Shiru incident tonight was mostly gone. "Master Lu, will he be all right?" Xiaoji asked worriedly. Fang Yin coldly snorted and said, "This person's heart is evil and his attacks are ruthless. He tried to take my life several times. His bead array is indeed very powerful. If my martial arts were slightly weaker, I wouldn't be able to sit here and chat with you tonight. I've only seriously injured him, which is already considered merciful. I don't want to cause any trouble for you. I'm really sorry." Xiaoji picked up the bottle again and filled their glasses, saying, "Let me toast you." Fang Yin smiled again and said, "I don't think there are many people who can get you to pour wine now. I haven't drunk for many years." Xia said, "Why are you making an exception today?" Xiaoji thought for a moment and said, "I just want to have a drink. It doesn't make sense. It's just like sometimes when I can't sleep in the middle of the night, I suddenly want to eat fried chicken with beer, braised chicken wings, spicy pickled fish, and even KFC McDonald's that I rarely eat." Xiaoji laughed heartily and said, "Besides, I'm treating you tonight. When the guests drink, how can the host not accompany them? You're not a bad person." Fang Yin said, "At least it's not annoying. That's your final evaluation of me. Not bad. Don't you know? A lot of people don't like summer." "Oh, I'd like to know. Who doesn't like summer?" "All the couples in the world. Fong Yin said. Because when summer comes, the weather is too hot for couples to hug each other. I have a question for you. Ask. Although I don't know much about Tai Chi, however, doesn't Tai Chi pay attention to using softness to overcome hardness, requiring the practitioner to be calm and not easily hurt others? Why did Lu Shiru easily attack people heavily? You also beat him up miserably? Fong Yin smiled and said, Taiping Guangji, Volume 174, quoting the chapter Tansu. Assistant Minister Shui Daoheng of the Sui dynasty visited Mount Zhong's Kaishan Temple and asked this little monk, why is Vajra angry? Why does Bodhisattva lower his eyebrows? This little monk answered, Vajra angry, so he subdued the 4 demons. Bodhisattva lowers his eyebrows, so he is merciful to the 6 paths. You mean good and evil are separated by a single thought? Good people do good, evil people do evil. This has nothing to do with the kung fu learned, but has something to do with the target? You can say that. Fong Yin nodded. After thinking for a while, he added, in fact, it's mainly because I couldn't control myself. He wanted to hit me, so I beat him up. He wanted to kill me, so I beat him half to death. Good people still suffer losses. At this time, Fong Yan's phone rang in his pocket. Fong Yin took it out and saw the number written on the screen was Kiss. Kiss? Fong Yin was stunned for a few seconds before he remembered that was Jiang Qin's nickname. However, he had never saved her phone number like that. How did it become Kiss? When Fong Yin picked up the phone, he heard Jiang Qin's voice. The little girl asked arrogantly, Mr. Fong, where are you? Fong Yin immediately looked around, thinking they won't happen to see me taking Xia Tian to eat barbecue, right? After finding no suspicious enemy, Fong Yin said, I'm eating. Where are you eating? Jiang Qin asked. Fong Yin smiled bitterly and said, You won't let me tell you where I'm eating, who I'm eating with, and what kind of dishes I'm eating, right? Jiang Qin giggled and said in a soft voice, If you want, I won't object. Say it quickly. What's the matter? If you don't say it, I'll hang up. Come and sing. Jiang Qin said. Drink songs? No way. I'm busy, Fong Yin said, and was about to hang up the phone. If you don't come, I'll go to the school gate to wait for you. Jiang Qin threatened. Yuan Xiaolin said she's going too. The 2 of us are going to hold a banner to the school gate to woo. Fong Yin smiled bitterly and said, It's really inconvenient. You know, my singing level is not very good. Singing? Xia Tian's eyes lit up and said, Okay, I'll go too. Jiang Qin's ears were sharp and immediately asked, Mr. Fong, where are you eating? Who are you eating with? Do you have a woman with you? Fong Yin sighed and said, Tell me the address. I'll come and find you after dinner. No, you haven't told me who the woman next to you is? Is she beautiful? Won't you see it in a while? Fong Yin said snappily, If you don't say it, I'll hang up. At Dynasty KTV, hurry up and come over. Jiang Qin said, hanging up the phone of this annoying little girl. Fong Yin looked at Xia Ji sitting opposite and asked, You really decided to go singing? With a group of little brats? Yes. Xia Ji nodded seriously. All of a sudden, I want to go to KTV to sing. Would it be interesting to go to KTV and sing my own songs? It's like suddenly wanting to eat fried chicken and drink beer, braised chicken wings, and pickled fish. Fong Yin asked. Yes. Xia Ji nodded very firmly. After a pause, he asked curiously, Who is Dear? What a cute name. When Fong Yin took out his cell phone, Xia Ji inadvertently glanced at it. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.